Good morning, Boston Bruins fans. It's a beautiful Sunday here in Amesbury, Massachusetts at the Black and Gold Hockey Podcast Studio. I am joined this morning again for day 2 of the Black and Gold Hockey Podcast live stream NHL trade deadline talk. I have my boy Kevin O'Keefe and Dom Tiano joining us again today. And already people are piling in here. We got Nicholas Alexander, Third Eye Storytelling, Ali Foley, Chef Swede, and Palmer Fred. Thank you very much for joining us all. All right. So, first of all, I do want to apologize for yesterday and my mumbles yesterday because I had too many Celsius, but it was a lot of fun. But I do want to say that today's live stream episode is brought to you by water. Yeah.
Episode H2O.
Exactly. So Angie's in the house. Thank you very much for retweeting. If you guys can, you're on the tweet machine or you're on YouTube. Share the link with your friends, family, and other Bruins fans. We'd certainly appreciate it. We want as many people in here as much as possible. We had almost 1,000 viewers yesterday. So that is a Black and Gold all-time record, and I want to get that even higher today if we possibly can. So let's talk some Boston Bruins. Yesterday was an amazing day, not only for the live stream and the folks that joined, but also a trade happened. So let's talk about it. Yesterday, the Boston Bruins traded to Anaheim a first-round pick in 2022, a second-round pick in 2023, a second-round pick in 2024, Urho Vakanainen, defenseman, and defenseman John Moore. And the Boston Bruins get Hampus Lindholm, and this doesn't have the other player that was involved. Can you guys elaborate, please?
Yeah. So I just want to break down the deal a little bit too for some. I mean, I'm not saying anyone here who's listening, but there's stuff out there talking about how Bruins got fleeced, Bruins paid too much, yada, yada, yada. And I just don't agree because if you really break down the trade, what you have in front of you is Hampus Lindholm, who is a legitimate top 4 left shot defenseman, which is what they needed, rumored to be at an extension, which should come through, for basically a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and a first-round pick in Urho Vakanainen, because the 50% retained, that right there is a second-round pick, and then you have the other second-round pick for the John Moore going back the other way. I think it's a great deal. I mean, I don't know why anyone would think that we overpaid.
And to add to that, we know it was between Chychrun and Lindholm. Now, Chychrun would have cost a lot more in terms of assets. And sure, you get it for about $2 million cheaper for the next 3 years. But the final 3 years when Chychrun's going to command a lot more. This sets up the Bruins well in terms of assets they do get to keep, namely Fabian Lysell. And the first round pick would have been gone in either way, but it also buys them cap space going forward by moving John Moore's contract.
Yeah, and that cap flexibility today has enough room for another move. Is that right, Dom?
Yeah, $6 million, just a hair over $6 million AAV. So they can add a player with a $6 million cap hit. Forget pro rating. If a player's cap hit is $6 million, they could add him. And that could go up simply by sending Jack Stanika down to Providence. I can tell you, just give me 1 second. Just that move alone brings it to $7.5 million. And people are going to wonder, how can it jump so much when Stanika doesn't make $1.5 million? It's just the way the cap is calculated. You'll just have to trust me on that. So they've got room to maneuver. Excuse me. And let's not forget Jake DeBrusk. He could be gone. And, of course, that amount skyrockets.
Yeah, and Jake DeBrusk was at practice today. Jack Studnicka is not at practice today, so that leaves two avenues. There's a trade in the works that involve Jack Studnicka, or he's being sent down to Providence, which he can do safely.
Yeah, because he doesn't require waivers, and it's not a big deal.
All right. Bubbles will be back shortly. So John's in the house. Brett Howard, hello. Everybody's wow, we got a lot of people. Ken Brewer comes in, says he likes yesterday's signing, especially if it's a long-term deal, which it looks to be. From the latest reports, it is an 8-year deal at $6.5 million per season. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, the deal is 8 years, $52 million.
Okay.
That's the total. What is being done now is how that deal is broken up, how it's paid, because obviously the Bruins want to leave room to be able to trade him when he's 34, 35 if need be. So it's how that 52 million gets broken down, and how, hate to say it, there are going to be people that are going to scream and yell at this, how a no movement clause, a modified no trade clause works into the deal. But yeah, it is 8 years, $52 million. No matter how they break down the money, that works out to a $6.5 million AAV.
Okay. And do we have details on the NMC or NTC?
No, nothing.
No details. So Cap Friendly's still working on that, correct?
What? No, it hasn't officially been filed with the league yet, Mark.
Oh, okay. All right.
So paperwork gets now. The reason why I don't have Cap Friendly up in front of me, I just have to go by my own spreadsheet. So
I'm gonna get it.
Just tell me how much room they have available for next year. So I'll try to explain this as brief as possible. So in the summertime or in the off season, every player on a one-way contract counts towards the cap, even if they're in the American Hockey League. Any player on a two-way contract that spent time in the NHL this season, so we'll use Jack Studnicka as an example, his time in the NHL counts towards the off-season cap hit. Okay, so by filing Lindholm's contract today, that eats up in what is called tagging space for next year. In other words, you have to be able to fit a player in this year and next year to be able to sign an extension. Now, the situation with the Bruins is they're looking to make another deal, and they also have Patrice Bergeron looking for an extension. So to be able to do those early, you have to be careful on when you file that contract with the NHL, because you need to leave yourself that space just in case.
Okay, so next season's cap hit statistics. Are you looking at salary cap for next season?
Yeah.
It says right now we're at 1.2 million. That's projected. But the projected for next season is 14.9.
Okay. So in that, you've got to take out everybody that's on a one-way contract. Okay. You've got to, if they filed Lindholm's contract now, that reduces it by $6.5 million. So already we're under $8 million in tagging space. So they have to wait until their next move is made to see how much room they have before they can file Lindholm's contract.
Yes. And another scary number that I'm looking at capfriendly.com is the next year's signing bonuses. It goes from 5 million to 13 next season.
Doesn't matter.
No?
It doesn't affect the cap at all because that's already calculated in their AAV. So
that's why you're the best, Tom.
Well, no, Cap Friendly's the best, but
well, let it flow downhill. Take some credit, man.
Okay.
All
take
right.
a little bit.
There you go. Mike comes in here on the YouTube viewer asking how I'm feeling. I'm actually really good. And if you weren't here for the beginning of the show, this live stream is brought to you by water. Yep. No more live streams with seltzies pouring down my face anymore.
Episode H2O.
Episode H2O. All right. So exciting times, you know what? It's silly season, blah, blah, blah. You know, Kevin's back. Welcome back, Kevin.
Sorry about that, guys.
No worries, man. Family comes first.
All right.
So we were just talking about the Lindholm contract, and we were going to transition into some ideas that might be floating out there. We did talk about Sidnika not practicing, and there's two avenues that he could go: either be sent down to the Providence Bruins or be involved in a trade that is supposed to happen sometime today. So we'll see what happens with that. So do you want to touch on the Lindholm at all? Or are you good?
I think it's a fantastic addition to this squad. He gives them exactly what they needed. You know, he's got size to him. While he's not overly physical, he does have a little bit of physical presence to him. He plays a good shutdown type of role, as well as being able to jump in on the offense and transition the puck. I think it's great. I think you put him right there with McAvoy, and I think you're all set. Well, yeah, not all set, but you know what I mean. Like as far as your top four goes,
people need to look at if you want to look at the analytics, you've got to look at Lindholm's ability to deny zone entries and his ability to gain zone entries. And I think you'll find he's among the top 25 defensemen in the NHL in both categories.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yep. And I mean, I know people have probably seen all the player cards and all that stuff that come out with the analytics on the player, but there's more that comes down to it. You know, you got to look at the pairing, you got to look at the team and how that team progresses and stuff like that. I think he's going to fit in tremendously here, and he's going to look more like his former self opposed to what you've seen over the last, few years in the Ducks organization.
Yeah, a little bit of caution, though, there, Kevin. And, we touched on it a bit yesterday. It's a different system, different style in Boston, where Boston plays a zone defense and Anaheim is mostly man-on-man, but they do in certain situations, they do zone defense. So it's going to take an adjustment period, but he's a player with a high IQ. So exactly. I don't think it's going to take him long. But don't expect that we go into Montreal tomorrow and, we see him lights out on his very first shift.
Agreed. I mean, I take it with a grain of salt with every player who comes in and has to learn a system. Mark, I said it with all season, Foligno, Holla, those types of guys. Right. I understand how that all works, and hopefully others can give leeway as well if things don't start with fireworks.
Yeah. Speaking of Mark, somebody chimed in here with it's more or less a salary cap question, but it's one that doesn't make much sense to me. But this is from Peter P. Do you think Allmark has moved in the offseason to free up cap space? This is Swayman's team, and having a backup making $5 million isn't smart. Actually, it is smart because the two of them are making right now under $6 million. Yeah. What's the problem? I mean, when Rask and Halak were here, we're looking at $10 million, which is a 9 to 10% of your cap.
Right. Not to mention he has a no movement clause. And who are you going to bring in to back up Swayman?
Exactly. You don't have anybody in the system right now. I mean, I like Kyle Kaiser and I like Troy Grosnick. I don't see Troy Grosnick being here next year. I think they'll probably go out and just sign a free agent goaltender to fill his spot. Kaiser could be retained on a two-way deal and stay in Providence to continue his development. But those aren't guys that you want up at the NHL level immediately now. So no, I don't see that being a problem. And the cap's fine with Allmark and his $5 million. And actually, that was not a bad deal in the offseason, in my opinion.
Mark,
Yeah,
you said that I need to pat myself on the back, so I'm going to give myself a pat on the back here. Back when the NHL instituted a salary cap, I came up with a formula for teams to be successful. They needed to spend an X percentage of their cap on goaltenders, X percentage on defensemen, and X percentage of forwards. And 7 or 8 years later, I looked at all the Stanley Cup winners and their salary cap, and I've even got it up to date up to last year that every single season that a team has won the Stanley Cup, with the exception of 3, have followed that formula. And if you look at Cap Friendly now, for an example, they break down a percentage of what is spent at positions, because to be successful, you have to put the money in the right places. Goaltending isn't a problem for the Bruins. Everybody talks about cap space. We need cap space. We need cap space. We don't. We just saw how successful the Bruins were this year in cap space. And you can look at 20 other teams and they're probably saying, man, we wish we were in the position the Bruins were in.
Yeah. I mean, Holla, Nosek, Foligno, and Smith all come off the books in 2 years. I believe, so next season, after next season, they come off the books. So right there, you got plenty of cap space to work with when Pastrnak is ready to go. Of course, you're adding in now most likely a $6.5 million cap hit for Lindholm, but that can be taken care of quite easily. There's plenty of ways to make things work, and a lot of that's going to have to do with allowing kids to come into the system, come into your roster as well. Like guys like Steen, who have played well, Bleed, guys like that who aren't going to cost you a ton of money, but they're going to be able to be effective in your bottom 6. So we'll see how they do moving forward.
Yeah, I'm just keep going. I'm just getting this out there.
All right, let's take a look at some of these comments then. Justin Braun out for Philly today, being traded per Sam Cassidy, Philly beat writer on Twitter. Sorry if I hacked that last name there. Justin Braun is a name that I've had in my mind for a replacement for Clifton on that right side defense, but we got to find out first if Forbort can play that side effectively. If he can, I don't think you have to go out and fill that spot, but we'll see. What do you think, Dom, on that? Do you think that there's a chance Forbort might be able to cover that spot?
I think he could, but they need an improvement on Cliffy hockey. I'm sorry, I like him at times, but he's not an 82 game regular season or what is it, 28 game playoff type player for me.
Of course, yep, I agree.
So I don't think that deal is a pressing one right now. I think that might be a deal we see tomorrow. I think today he's looking for a top 6 forward. Now, he is scheduled to have a press conference at 1:00 today. I think it is.
That's in an hour.
Yeah. So we might not get anything. And I caution everybody, just because Sweeney might come out and say we're done or we're just looking at other things, don't take that to mean anything. I listened to Billy Guerin on NHL Network Radio last week, and he said, no, we have nothing in the works right now, and nothing imminent, and then bam, half hour later they pull off a trade.
Yeah, smoke and mirrors, man.
Yeah,
It's all smoke.
Don't take everything seriously. That like Mark said, smoke and mirrors, but sometimes it's also not showing your hand to your opposition.
I do want to touch on this one. This is from Cameron Holt, and he is from the Holtz on Hockey podcast. Please subscribe to them and follow. They do a tremendous job over there. It's a family show, and much respect for Cam and what he does for a job. But he says, if and when Sweeney makes a second trade today, is it for a second line center or a one right wing?
Hard to say.
I know, because you can make upgrades at both of those, because one, the first line, if you lose DeBrusque, you have to replace that roster spot, and you have to get somebody to come in to do it, because I don't think we have it internally. I mean,
Right.
if we keep Studnicka, yeah, you could put him on the right side, but is that the greatest idea for him? I don't think so. And the second line center, we're doing okay right now, but yeah, I kind of sway on the way of, yeah, we could use an upgrade there, but it's going to cost. And do we still have the assets to do that? I mean, swinging away with Vakanainen and John Moore it's just genius to me, in my opinion. And I like Vac. But getting somebody to bite on John Moore's contract and getting it off the books, to facilitate more money and something that happened today is Sweeney gets a freaking pat on the back as much as that guy gets freaking torched.
Yeah, and that's a telling part of that deal that Sweeney is not done, of course, is the fact that he had them retain 50%. If he was done, there was no point in doing that, no point in giving up the extra pick.
So Ali makes an interesting comment there that I think we should touch on before it disappears up the thing about Mclaughlin being recalled on an emergency basis today. There's actually a video of him on Twitter taking shots on Jeremy Swayman at practice. So Bergeron is out for tomorrow against Montreal, so they needed a center, which is going to send everybody speculating that Studnicka may be the one being moved out. But also, Studnicka did take a big hit in the game. Well, I've lost track of days now. Friday, right? Friday. So
yeah, against Winnipeg.
So he could be nursing a little bit of an injury as well, and that. Mclaughlin could burn his first year of his entry-level contract. Now, the one right before her, sorry, I don't mean to be jumping all over the place. Somebody was asking about Chychrun. I don't know how to go back on these.
I got it.
These messages here. Hey, Dom, all your pieces that you said Arizona wanted for Chychrun are still here. If they came back at you today, all the pieces aren't here because the first round pick is gone.
Right. Unless they wanted 2023's first round pick, then it's technically still here.
Would I pull the trigger?
I would. I personally would.
Yeah.
Interesting scenario.
It's not every day you get a player like that in your lineup for, honestly, what that package would be. What was it? A Sean, a third-round pick, a first-round pick, and Lassell?
Yeah. Now, we were talking yesterday about how LA came in and upped their offer, and after we stopped doing the show yesterday, I told you guys, laughing, I couldn't believe this was even possible, that now the Coyotes are having second thoughts about trading him to a team in the same conference. So not only did LA come in and basically push the Bruins out of the picture, so they went after Lindholm, they may not even get their guy because now Arizona is hesitant.
Makes sense.
I want to go back on Ali's thing about the Mclaughlin recall on an emergency basis. There's that very well could be a possibility that he gets in and burns a year, but it's also maybe he's just practicing with the team, waiting for Providence to come up.
No, Bergeron's not playing, so they need a center.
Okay.
It's also a possibility that Sweeney's bringing in a center today.
Okay.
That's also a possibility.
Because I'm also thinking it's not out of the realm for a player like that to practice with the team while waiting for the AHL club to come back from Charlotte. And that's where Callahan is right now. And it's been widely mentioned that Mclaughlin will join Providence shortly after. But that's until today, obviously.
Yeah, because you'd think that Bleed would be the one stepping into the lineup. And then once again, you'd see a guy like Nosek moving up to that first line against Montreal. I don't see – there's no reason for them to put Mclaughlin in. There's literally no reason. So,
but because he's an emergency recall, not just a regular recall. I understand what you're saying, Mark, if it's a recall, but because it's an emergency recall, I tend to think there's more to it.
Okay.
Emergency recall is totally different than a recall.
Okay.
Because they're at a 23-man roster. They can't bring them up because they're already at the limit. So somebody has to be nicked up that can't go tomorrow night, thus an emergency recall.
Awesome. That's good to know. I should have known that, but
Oh, he's upset with himself. He took himself out of here.
Oh, Mark, come back.
I saw someone asking who the second person was in that package. I'm looking that up for you right now. I think his name was Cody something. Curran?
Curran.
All right, so Cody Curran, that was it.
RRAN.
Yeah, I kind of my fingers got a little ahead of myself.
What is he, 32 years old?
Yeah, he's a Providence AHLer for life. He's an AHLer. He's a lifer there. That's pretty much what he is.
Bruce Cassidy said Hampus Lindholm will probably play with both Charlie McAvoy and Brandon Carlo at times. We're a better team today. It's a really good ad for us. He won't play Monday night in Montreal, but should be ready to go Thursday.
Okay.
That gives him plenty of time to really practice and kind of start learning a bit of the system.
Yeah.
I think that's a good call. Interesting, though, on that he'll be playing with both Carlo and McAvoy. It's interesting because, it's really not that out of the realm of possibility because...
Hold on 1 second, Kevin.
Uh-oh.
To go back to the previous one. Jack Stanika blocked a shot, and he's questionable for tomorrow after not being able to practice today.
Okay, so there's a little more dialogue into that situation. Because I know my friend Richard, where I went to school with a long time ago, he's asking if Stanika is on the block, what forwards do you think they are looking into on the market for additional scoring?
Not Forsberg.
Sorry I interrupted you, Kevin, but...
No, that's fine. That's fine.
And before we go any further, we should wish a happy birthday to the greatest player that ever played the game, Bobby Orr.
Happy birthday, Bob.
Agreed.
Absolutely. Great day in NHL history, Bruins history, and just an absolute legend. Just redefined how a defenseman plays the game in the 60s. And, that transitional defenseman was really started right there. And back before then, you really didn't have defensemen that were eager enough to cross the center line or even go deep as the goal line as much as Bobby did. So,
we had Harry Howell, but nowhere near to the level of Bobby Orr.
Right.
And I would say if Bobby Orr never played hockey, we'd be talking about Brad Park the same way.
Yep, exactly. It's all the filter down. It's generations of learning, It's like
Just to quickly finish my thought, though, that I was going to say, with allowing him to get time with both McAvoy and Carlo, one, you're allowing him to get used to two partners just in case if there's an injury, and I think that's smart. Two, you're also allowing for different situations to happen where, say, you need scoring really bad, you just throw Grizzlick and McAvoy out there together, or say you need to shut something down pretty well, maybe a Carlo and a Lindholm pairing could really work for that. So
Exactly.
yeah, but I do eventually see the main pairing for the playoffs being Lindholm McAvoy.
And to add, you'll probably see. It all depends on what happens with Forbort here, because you could see Lindholm with or what happens with Clifton as well if they bring somebody else in. But Lindholm will probably be paired with Carlo when it comes to the PK.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or that makes sense.
Or the last minute trying to protect the lead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because right now it's Forbort and McAvoy they put in there, right, at the end of games? Or is it?
No, Carlo and Forbort.
Carlo and Forbort. So now it would definitely be a Lindholm Carlo.
Yeah. So with 2 minutes left, you might see, or a minute and a half, you might see Forbort and McAvoy, and then the last minute you go with Lindholm and Carlo.
Yep.
All right, we are at the half-hour mark of this live stream. I want to thank Kevin and Dom for participating, but I also want to give some words about our Patreon account. If you guys want to jump on board this, it only costs $1 per episode. We record once every week on Wednesdays, but if you donate $1 to patreon.com/Black and Gold Hockey Podcast, we'll and if you are eligible to win, you get like signed pucks from fantastic players. That was Vern Flannan. This is Rick Middleton, and so on. I will send you these, but you also are eligible for our monthly hand-signed jersey giveaways. Donnie Marcotte here, 1970-72 Stanley Cup champions. We got Terry O'Reilly, fully authenticated from JSA. Awesome stitching work. Great freaking products from Bruce Sullivan from Boston Sports and Music Memorabilia. Jerry Cheevers. So we got about 7 months of giveaways we're going to be doing. So if you want to donate just $1, that's it. Go right down there. The information is in the ticker. We would certainly appreciate it. We had 5 or 6 people come in and sign up to be new Patreons, and one of them was even a $20 per episode Patreon, which is unbelievable. So we thank everybody for the contributions, the support, the financials. It's been unbelievable. So thank you very much. Let's get back to that Boston Bruins hockey talk.
I got an interesting comment here. Bruce Cassidy on Mark Mclaughlin. He feels like he has a bit of Nola Chari in his game. That's an interesting comment.
Yeah. I want to see it, though. I want to see more. Because I really haven't seen a ton of Boston College games. I'm more or less the Providence guy and later night Western Hockey League type of guy.
Yeah.
But I have seen him play, and he does have some good skill and so on. But to put a comparison like that, I'd have to see more of him to like nail it down. And hopefully it's a more offensive Nola Chari, because I like Noel's grit and everything, but I wish he would put the puck on the net when he was with Boston. But that's what happens when you go to Florida and you're next to players like Huberdeau and so on. They're just going to increase your talent and your point production, much like how Jake DeBrusk is doing next to players like Bergeron and Marchand.
Yep, I agree.
All right.
There's a comment from Swede Chef we should probably hit.
Swede Chef, and this is it right here.
Yeah.
He says he wants 50% retained for Jonathan Taves for Jake DeBrusk. It would only add $1.5 million. That's interesting.
I don't know if that deal would get done in that fashion. I mean, I'm sure more would have to be added on to Jake DeBrusk.
So I got a text message from a buddy today saying I was talking to a Blackhawks scout who said the Bruins inquired about Jonathan Taves. I'm like, no, man, there's just no way. I don't believe that. So I had to go check and called a buddy who's high enough up in the Hawks management team that would know. And he said, yeah, Dom, they inquired. I was told to prepare something extensive on the Bruins prospects. So, but that was a few weeks ago. So I don't know where it is today. I honestly think that they're revisiting Raquel.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm all set with Jonathan Taves, especially this year. Jake DeBrusk has been more productive and a better player than Jonathan Taves this year. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Shout out to Angelo from Montreal. He's a passionate Bruins fan living up in the enemy's territory. He's got a lot.
Survive.
Yeah, I know. He's got a lot going on, but there's always time for Black and Gold live events, and he's got like multiple screens put up with us.
Who Ainge?
Yeah, hanging out. The guy's a beauty, man. Seriously,
for real.
Awesome supporter. We love our supporters. Steve Conroy comes in on Twitter. He's from the Boston Globe. The Boston Herald. No Bergeron in Montreal. Questionable for Thursday. Cassidy said Zanika blocked a shot. Oh, we already talked about that. Sorry. So,
well, they're now saying that Bergeron is also doubtful for Thursday. Wow. Well, questionable. Sorry, questionable. Per Allie here in the comments.
Yeah, she's been sending out stuff on Twitter, tagging me. I got the Mclaughlin update. Where can we go now?
It's pretty much just waiting on this. Whatever trade is going to happen today, it's just waiting on that. And it's like, when is it going to drop? I mean, and honestly, we're waiting on. Is Don Sweeney talking now?
No, Cassidy's talking right now.
So Cassidy made those comments about where Hampus would play.
I think I'm pretty sure Sweeney is scheduled for 1:00.
Yeah,
and then Lindholm right after him.
Is there any way for us to bring it up here? Do we have access to that, or is that just going to be a closed thing?
It's a Zoom call.
Yeah, it would be with the media. I don't think it's going to be a live televised thing. And then the media will take it from there and break off into pieces.
Sprinkle everything.
Yeah, once it's all edited and so on and blah, blah, blah. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, because usually he does a live thing when he's done. Like done on Monday.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw that it's a Zoom call with the media. I think the Bruins put most of it out afterwards. I'm just trying to think of who else might be out there. But I want to go back to Raquel. If you're the Ducks and you're now at the 11th hour and you know you're not going to be able to sign him, what are you selling him for as a pure rental? Because we know he's not talking extension.
Yeah.
3rd and a 4th.
So for Boston, that would be Calgary's pick that they got in the Vladar trade and a 4th round pick this year.
Yeah, pretty much. Or unless it was a 4th round pick next year, because you'd be out first. You'd be out first,
and a
3rd, and 4th this draft,
right,
if you were to do it that way. And that sounds not too good to me, because I like this draft.
And next year's is not going to be that bad either.
Yeah, but next year if you went 2nd and 4th and you still had your 1st and 3rd, I'd be happy.
Yeah, still got to replenish a very thin prospect pool.
Yeah, so if you had 2 and 4 for this one, and then 1 and 3 for next one, I'm pretty okay.
You're good. You're good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Peter Tankrat comes in and says, "No rentals, please."
I mean, it depends on. I mean, the perfect situation for a rental to come in here, to be honest, is Raquel, because he is such good friends with Hampus Lindholm. I think there's a good chance you can extend him. Depending on how he plays here, of course, but I don't know if he's going to be a $4.5 to $5 million player on his next deal. For me, it would really depend on the term if I'd even want to really keep him in the fold moving forward. I mean, I don't know.
Trying to go through these and find out some good ones.
Jason says has a concussion history. So does Patrice Bergeron.
Yeah.
Right. Concussion histories don't bother me. They don't.
No, unless you're Kasha.
Yeah. Unless you're Kasha.
I feel bad for that guy. You see that?
Patrice Bergeron suffered one of the worst concussions in hockey history.
Yeah, it was bad.
I mean, could have ended his life. And look at him now.
I like what Jason has here. It's another avenue of thinking when you're trying to make a trade and add to the right side. I would like Raquel. I think it would help Lindholm get comfortable faster if he had a teammate come with him. There might be some. It might be a positive thought right there, but
definitely a little truth to it. Of course,
Yeah.
Like if I was moving to another state. And I knew that I either had a significant other coming with me or a friend who wanted to do the same thing, it would make things a lot easier. So it makes sense.
But let's remember, too, there's Linus Ullmark there and Anton Bleed, two Swedes to help him with the transition. And from what I understand, I was told this yesterday, but I don't know if there's any truth to it, that PJ Axelson is in town.
PJ.
Yeah.
There's a comment up here that I want to get to. It is the Pachis Bergeron. Is Raquel?
I was just about to click on that.
Yeah, is Raquel really an upgrade over to Brusque? I'm going to say yes, but it's not going to look that way because their production is so similar. But I think Raquel is definitely an upgrade in a sense of his compete. But that's just me.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
And he could have a better fit on his natural side with Bergeron and Marchand, which you could see a big uptick in his production.
Right. I also think he's a better two-way player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, is he going to have the hand-eye like you saw on DeBrusque's beautiful little play there to Marchand? I don't know, but you don't see that enough out of a guy like DeBrusque anyways. So
I like Cameron Holt's question here. Would you guys would have liked to see Don send a third as well for Delorier? I think it would be a lot more. I think Delorier is that type of player that a lot of teams that are playoff bound are going to be looking hard at. And I think
he already went.
What?
He already went to Minnesota for a third.
Yeah.
Stupid alcohol.
Yeah, that happened while you were drunk, so don't worry about it. But yeah, he went for a third, and a lot of people are now saying, like, why didn't you get him included into the Lindholm deal if it was only a third that would get him? I mean, it would be a nice get. I'm not going to lie. It'd be a nice get, but that's not the area where, like, the bottom six really isn't an area you have to touch.
All right. So now that I'm updated on the trade, does that make Minnesota's Fiala available or able to be traded? Because I think he's on his last year of his deal.
I think they're going for it. I don't think they're going to move anyone.
Yeah, I think they're going for it.
They have to.
At midnight tonight, there's no more 23-man roster limit. So as long as they got space, they can carry everybody.
Yeah, and I think they have to go all in with the cap. Yeah. They're going to be in for the foreseeable future. Now's the time for them to figure it out and really try. But they got some bigger holes than even Boston has had here. If we think the holes in Boston are tough to fill and, kind of a situation where you don't think they can win a cup, Minnesota's got some real holes there up the middle. I mean, they need They need centers. They need it.
YouTube viewer 3Miko4 chimes in and says, Stastny, Domi, Kopp, or someone else, which center available would you add to fill that center void? Seems to be some traction on Winnipeg Jets Kopp. I'm seeing it on Twitter. I'm not sure how real it is. But at this time of year, it's crazy season, and you make phone calls on anybody that can make your team better. I am totally out on Domi. I really do not like the things I'm hearing about his locker room presence, and it makes you kind of wonder if that was something to do with how many teams he's been on. I know he's a good player. He has value, which is always attractive. But once you get to a team, you really see somebody's character. I don't really see a fit here in Boston with him.
I'm going from left to right. No, maybe, yes.
Okay.
Agree. I just look at what they have to do, and it has to be an improvement on what they have now. And if Jake DeBrusk is going, you're not moving Jake DeBrusk for a number 2 center because you've just created another hole. Mark, is your volume off?
Is my volume off?
Oh, there you are.
Oh, sorry.
I guess he was talking directly to you and wanted all of your attention.
I'm sorry.
I'm staring through you right now. He's going to whack you. Look at him.
Jesus. At least you're going to whack me. Put the sunglasses on. Do it in style.
Yeah. Mike has a good question here. I like this. Is Kopp even an upgrade on Haula? I'm going to say yes, because Kopp is doing things without Hall and Pasternak right now that Haula is basically doing ever since he got with Hall and Pasternak. So I think Kopp would be an upgrade over Haula at that 2C position, in my opinion.
I don't think it's an upgrade enough to make a difference.
Not enough, but an upgrade technically. But I think I would rather put him on the right side of Marchand and Bergeron.
And Nicholas actually asked a pretty decent question. If Jake DeBrusk was going to be traded, you don't think he would be set out of today's practice?
No, out of practice, no.
Yeah.
Well, now, if they were playing a game tonight, he'd probably be out of this game tonight, I think.
Yeah.
Especially if it's against Montreal. I don't think you have to really worry too much there. I think you're good enough to where you can sit Jake DeBrusk to beat the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah. And it's very rare occasion that a player is sat on a practice waiting for a trade. Very good.
And John chimes in here. I guess Friedman just indicated that Kopp and Domi are on the Bruins' radar.
Yep, it's been known. That's definitely a known commodity there. I mean,
yeah, we talked about Domi yesterday a bit.
Yep.
Honestly, I'd take Domi. I would. I think that, regardless of the locker room stuff and all that stuff that you hear about, I'd like to bring him in and try it. I don't think the cost would cost you a lot. And he's not having a bad season for playing pretty much like 12 to 13 minutes a night. You give him some more time with a Pasternak and a Hall. I think he could be lights out. That's just my opinion.
I think I was checking this morning, and he's averaging 13 minutes a game.
Yep. And that would be bumped up in Boston for sure, playing with a Pasternak and a.
Oh, definitely, he'd be up around 18.
Yeah, and I think his production would, and it'd be good too because he's a facilitator as well. So I think that helps. It helps Pasternak obviously continue scoring goals, and I think it helps Hall score a bit more goals, even though he also likes to facilitate. It could also kind of bump heads there, maybe. I don't know. It would be it'd be interesting to see, but he can play right wing too. I'm pretty sure, right, Domi?
Yeah.
So if it's not working out at center, you just put Haula back there and you put him up on the right wing. I don't know how they're going to do it, but it's interesting.
YouTube viewer William McDonald chimes in. I'd love them to bring back Johansson, super cheap, and would look great on the third and fourth lines. One thing I don't like about that idea, William, is breaking up 11, 12, 13. at this point right now, because they're pretty much your best line moving forward, and have been for quite some time since they were assembled. So I'm not a fan of that. Go ahead.
Hampus Lindholm extension has completed and has just been announced by the Boston Bruins. They agreed to terms with Hampus Lindholm on an 8-year extension at 6.5.
Oh,
yeah, but nothing on the breakdown, right?
I'm looking into it now. I'm trying to see.
Look at that, folks. Traded Dawn strikes again. All right.
Nothing in this article.
Yeah, it was just probably just a quick one to get out. Details to come. The
Bruins have officially recalled Mark Mclaughlin on that emergency basis, so that's pretty interesting. I still don't think he gets in, but
this is from my favorite person that I can't say the name.
Pejman Halakayala. He likes when we try, so
I'm just gonna have you do it from now on.
He likes when I try.
It sounds better and it's fun. Hey fellas, interested in what you guys think the D pairs should look like? Lindholm, Mac, followed by Grizz, Carlo. Is that the way I'd go? Load up on the top pair instantly. One of the best top pairs in the league.
That's where I am.
Yeah, I'm kind of at the same. Dom, how about you on the defensive pairs?
I totally agree. Kevin went into great detail on it earlier, where depending on situation, you put Lindholm with McAvoy or Carlo. Last minute of the game, do you need a goal? You put Grzelcyk with McAvoy, Lindholm with Carlo. That's the one thing about Cassidy and Dean is they'll look at game situation and lineup situations. So I think for Lindholm's most minutes will be with McAvoy, Grzelcyk's will be with Carlo, and we'll have to see what they do with the third pair.
And Grzelcyk's already been with Carlo for a majority of the last month. So
right, but I'm saying that's what we'll see going forward.
No, I agree. Yep. And I was just reiterating with that.
Awesome. Man, I want them to play tonight.
I know, right?
I mean, Montreal tomorrow is going to be fun, too.
Just announce the McDavid trade. Wait, what?
That's one of the reasons why I think something's going to happen today. Maybe even 2, possibly 3 moves. One is probably going to be more impactful than the others. And the others are probably going to be like some minor league movements. That always happens.
John Michael Isles.
Yeah. But I don't think that they're going to do anything tomorrow towards the deadline because it is game day and so on. I think we talked about that yesterday. Correct, Dom?
I think they make.
I think they'll do something. It'll be early.
Okay.
I'm curious to see. It'll be depth. That's why I think something big happens today. Would be interested to see if Sweetie makes the trip to Montreal with the team.
Yeah. Let's go to Ange, our boy Ange, big supporter. Seeing the news on the New York Rangers shopping Alex Lafreniere, do you think the Bruins should have a look? Also seeing on how McBain is the type of prospect that Don Sweeney loves, do you think he will go after him? I think McBain's still in play with it. Pretty much everybody. It's just how much you're going to give a general manager like Billy Guerin, and who doesn't necessarily have to make a move to better his team. I think he's got a pretty decent team, and it got better yesterday with the news of resident tough guy Nick Delorier going to the club. So I don't know about Alexis Lafreniere. Hyped up, great player in the queue and so on, and I don't know if he's really panned out. He kind of reminds me of how the path Jimmy Vesey has taken. Totally different situations when it comes to, Vesey basically just took Nashville for a ride for 4 years and then said, "Hey, I'm not signing with you." So.
No, there's no comparison there. Lafreniere is a top pick. Here's my problem with it, and this is a subject for another day. They need to raise the draft age to 19, or they got to stop forcing these players at 18 in the first year of the draft onto an NHL roster. Lafreniere is going to be a legitimate player in this year, but because he was a number 1 overall pick, everybody expects Connor McDavid from day one. And not everybody is a Connor McDavid. Would I go after him? Of course I would. He's going to be a star in this league, but I'm not going to pay the price that the Rangers are going to want for him. That's for sure.
That makes sense. Ali comes in. Billy is going to be very leery about dealing with Boston after the Coyle deal. I will tell you that Billy Guerin was not involved in the Coyle deal. I don't think he was a GM back then.
I also strongly disagree because they got Kaprizov because of that deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a win-win-win for many, but it's also a win for Boston in their own way. I mean, there's no guarantee that Boston was picking Kirill Kaprizov with that 5th round pick. There's no guarantee of that.
Guaranteed they weren't. Guaranteed they weren't.
Here's an interesting one from James Rao. Any shot the Bruins can entice Flyers into an Atkinson trade. They reportedly liked the offer the Bruins had for Claude Giroux. Interesting. I like the player.
I just don't know if he's been made available to the point where you can get a fair offer on him. You know, maybe he's not available and you have to overpay for him, and I don't think he's worth overpaying for.
No, and certainly not at the cost that. Sure, they like the Giroux offer.
Not a problem, Ellie.
All accounts, the Flyers preferred the Giroux or the Bruins offer for Claude Giroux, but unfortunately, we weren't on his top priority. So, I would like him, but again, it's all based on what's the cost to acquire.
True. What else we got? Anything else you guys want to talk about, or any more in the chat? Fill it up. Let's go.
Dusty, yes, they did. They played together.
Yeah, they certainly did. He is a smart GM.
Pejman, yes. I am so happy that never happened. Whew.
Yeah,
let's talk a little bit about Sean Monahan, because his name is being tied to the Bruins yet again.
Yep.
So cap hit is, I don't know who's got cap friendly open, 6.7 million per, I think.
God, I want to say it's 6.2, but let me open it up.
6.2.
Sean Monahan.
Again,
6.6. It's 6,000. It's 6.375.
Okay. Another player that I know really, really well from his days back with the London Knights in the Ontario Hockey League. I don't know what it is about Monahan. He's not the player that he once was. And is he a player that needs a change of scenery, much like Jake DeBrusk needed? So I don't know. I'm torn on this one because I know what he's capable of being. I just don't know anymore what he is capable of actually being. I know he's had an injury history, and maybe that's finally caught up to him, and that he'll never be what he once was. Curious what you guys think.
I'm not sure. I mean, it's hard to tell because he's not too far removed from a fantastic season.
Right. He had 5 30-goal seasons, I believe.
Yeah, I think 2018, 2019 was his last really productive season before he started to kind of start going downwards, and I don't know why. So I can't really answer that. It's just one of those things where I'm not sure.
Jerry H comes in and he mentioned something about yesterday's stream. Sorry, I forgot about it. A little bit of alcohol induced. Yesterday, I asked if we could get Chychrun or Lindholm without giving up Lysell or Lohrei, and the consensus answer was no, but they did it just that. Sweenius, hashtag Sweenius.
Now, and I've seen this mentioned a couple of times here and on HF boards, and I just never replied to it because I recall the question yesterday, and I gave an emphatic no, was the question read Lindholm and Chychrun.
Ooh. Oh, my God.
So I don't know if there's any way of going back and looking at it, Mark, but that's how I remembered the question, and that's what I answered.
Okay. That would be amazing. Oh my God. I think that would be the best defense in the league if that was made.
But deals have a way of evolving. Who knows? One of them could have been in the original conversation.
You know what? I have real quick. For some reason, I thought that Kaprizov was picked with that 5th round pick from the Bruins in that Charlie Coyle trade, but actually, no, it was a pick swap back in 2015. I was completely wrong on that. So that's on me.
Yeah, you got called up pretty hard in the chat.
Holly?
Huh?
I'm asking Holly if she wants me to punch you in the head.
Oh, she's more than welcome. You know what's funny, though? I heard that somewhere, and I guess I just never looked it up, and I just went with it in my brain for like a year.
I like the Swede chef here. He comes in with some Monahan news. Yeah, wrist in 2018, illness in 2019, and hip surgery in 2021 for Monahan. But
so injuries.
Yeah, I mean it's a risk, but I mean it's a risk that the Flyers took with what's his name? Oh, I can't. I'm so bad at this. All right, never mind. Moving on.
Hip injuries are the worst. I mean, look at Tuukka, right?
Yep. He's a colored player. He's really good. He was played for Philly. He's with the Maple Leafs now. Wayne Simmons. Thank you, Dom. Yes, it's more or less like Wayne Simmons. It's like so risky because if you have hip surgery, you literally have to be out of game action for a year for that hip to like completely heal 100%. You can play on it at 60 to 75%, but it's not going to heal complete. It's such a gamble with those hip injuries. That's your pivot point on the body in hockey. So I didn't go to MIT or any medical schools. It's just that's shooting from the hip.
I love the last comment there, or the second last one now, because I can't pronounce his name.
Well, hang on a
his
second.
name?
This one?
Yeah.
Would love to see Toronto do something stupid. Flower already rejected the trade to the Leafs. I think they get desperate over the next 24 hours in net and on D. Maybe overpay for Giordano. Can't even say it. Yep. Thank you.
Listen, nobody knows the Toronto market better than I do. I live right smack dab in the middle of it. And not only did Fleury turn them down, Manson said no to Toronto as well. And I told this story on one of the podcasts. I've been following hockey for a long, long time, and I actually was a Leaf fan at one time.
Since 1924.
Yeah.
Jesus. You're going to get whacked.
They won the Stanley Cup in 1967, and the next year I changed allegiances to the Bruins. So I like to think that I'm the reason why the Leafs don't win the Stanley Cup. But anyway, the longer they're in hell, the happier that makes me. So let them do something stupid. But I know Dubas has said that he's not trading a first-round pick, and he's let teams around the league know that. So we'll see. I'll tell you one mistake the Leafs did make is they should have kept Mark Hunter as general manager and not Kyle Dubas.
Yeah. Interesting. Hey, this one's interesting. It's not directly Bruins related, but it kind of goes with the trade talk that we're going to do or doing. Ekblad is LTIR. So does that, this is from James Rue, does that move the needle for the Panthers to possibly add Chikrin? Or did he get traded last night too?
But,
He did not. Chikrin's still an Arizona Coyote.
Okay, thank you.
what? The Panthers aren't pulling anything off here. Aaron Ekblad is legitimately injured.
They still could take advantage of that LTIR room, though, couldn't they?
Well, sure, but it's there for a reason. Why should the team suffer and not be able to replace him because of his cap hit?
I agree with you. I'm not one of those people.
We forget that the Bruins did it in 2011 with Mark Savard. We forget that.
Yeah, and then I mean, I think
miraculously heal, like he didn't miraculously heal and come back to the playoffs. But if it were not for long-term injury reserve, they never would have been able to bring in the players that they did, and they probably wouldn't have won a Stanley Cup.
Yeah. I mean, I think they can probably play Jeru at that center position if they feel comfortable doing that, if Jeru feels comfortable doing that, and then pick up another smaller piece to go on the wing. Something they could do.
So apparently Don Sweeney is at the mic talking right now. We cannot provide a link for that because I don't believe it is live or anything like that. But
I don't think he's live yet. It's still 12:37. I think there's a little bit of time, but I don't think there's a link either. Like Don was saying, it's a Zoom thing that's only for media, which will be one day. We got this. We'll have that Zoom link soon, right, Mark?
I don't know. Maybe. Still trying to work that threshold. Anything else Bruins related? We get a lot of stuff going on here that's not.
Oh, Sweeney is at the mic.
See?
So Sweeney says there are some big players that are moving right now. I'll continue to explore.
Yep.
That's an interesting comment because he says there are some big players. We know what he means by that. Not big as in size, but big as in, impact players. And he's going to continue to explore that. That's a good comment.
Can you repeat the comment word for word again?
Yep. Sweeney says there are some big players that are moving right now. I'll continue to explore.
Interesting.
I just want to quickly touch on Brandon Patrick's comment on the YouTube. Since McLaughlin is up on an emergency basis, can he play?
I was just getting the answer for that.
Yeah,
he can play. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to. Stanika could be good to go, and his contract does not take effect next season. It takes effect this season.
Yeah. The Michael Callahan contract is going to be ATO with Providence this year and going into effect next year. So you might have gotten those just flopped around.
When Sweeney was asked about signing players like McAvoy, Lindholm, and Carlo to long-term deals, he said, "We've got foundational pieces where we are really going to be hard to play against."
Yeah, that's what you want to hear,
Might as well just pull up Connor Ryan's full-on Twitter here and just refresh it and let the comments keep rolling through because he'll be throwing them up here. He always does.
Let's see.
Ali says Kopp is in the lineup for tonight for Winnipeg.
That's interesting.
Interesting, but anything could happen between right now and tonight before the puck drops in Winnipeg. So we'll see.
Like, let's not forget, Sweetie's in front of a microphone now. So,
and Brett Howard from the Beehive Hockey Podcast, he comes in with Larkin. Stevie Bongrip said he's listening to offers on him.
God, could you imagine? I mean, I would welcome it. I'm sure you guys would welcome it, but it would be very pricey.
Yeah.
Well, you're starting with a first round pick that you don't have,
unless it was next year's.
And you're talking a blue chip prospect.
Yep.
What?
Yep. I would go, honestly, I'd go Lascelles and I'd keep Lohrei, in my opinion.
Lascelles is more of a Stevie Y player than he is a Boston Bruins type player.
That'd be fun. I mean, it would just suck to trade him in your division like that, but technically it'd be going both ways. It would offset. Connor Ryan says, Sweeney says, we're looking at every possible situation to add to our group.
Yeah. This one's interesting. This is from Pejman. At least I think I got your first name right. I'm not even going to try the last name. Sorry, but Ohio State is not in the NCAA tourney. Curious to see if Lohrei plays in Providence or goes back to OSU for his sophomore year. I really like his game. Very high ceiling. I thought they were in the tourney.
No, they got eliminated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well,
was that last night?
They needed help last night, and they didn't get it, so they're out. Now, I can answer that because I spoke to somebody on the Bruins about this. The Bruins believe that Lohrei needs another year back in school, and that would be the best thing for his development. However, if Lohrei were to come to them and say, I want to turn pro, they're not going to say no.
Correct.
The player holds the cards there, but they will strongly urge him to go back to Ohio State for another year.
Now,
at least one more year.
Now, let me ask you, Dom, because you're really good at this. By the Bruins suggesting to the player to go back to school, it's not a detriment on his current development.
No,
more or less, is it because of the landscape in front of him?
No, the landscape in front of him, and what they honestly, I mean, Jamie Langenbrunner keeps a close eye on him, and so does Adam McQuaid. So they know what he needs to work on, and sometimes it's better to learn at a level lower than the American Hockey League. Can I bring in Fabian Lysell here, because we talked about it in one of the podcasts. So back at trade deadline, the Vancouver Giants decided, we're not going anywhere. We're going to sell off some pieces. What bigger piece did they have to sell off than Fabian Lysell?
Mm-hmm.
They traded their top centerman. Lysell would have brought in a haul for them. And my understanding is the Bruins stepped in and said no. Now, you ask me, how do the Bruins have control of a player playing in junior? Well, I can tell you they do, because they loaned him to Vancouver. He's under contract with the Boston Bruins, and they loaned him to Vancouver. They didn't have to, on the guarantee that, they develop him the way that they want him to be developed. So it's the same thing with Lohrei. I mean, we can go way back to Ryan Spooner when the Bruins drafted him, and he demanded a trade out of Peterborough at the time, I think it was. And the Bruins were ticked off, like really supremely ticked off, that he went ahead and asked for a trade in the Interior Hockey League without informing them first.
Wow.
So, yeah, they have input. They have a great amount of input. So, if they wanted to go back to school for another year, Lohrei should take his advice, or their advice, and do just that.
Good news. Good news.
Jesus. We're putting Bubbles to sleep.
Yeah, right. Freaking
Now,
Sparkles over here is making me fall asleep. It's crazy.
Dusty has a very good comment. Ugh, Spooner, what a piece of work. Yeah. Dusty, I hate to say this, but Spooner was one of the first players. I don't want to get all political here again, but Spooner was one of the first players in the KHL to escape Russia with what's going on. He got back home last week, and he's looking for a job.
And that's it. That's all.
That's all I'm going to say.
That's all. But Don Sweeney said that David Krejci will not return to the NHL this season, that he's decided to stay home in the Czech Republic with his family. We can put this to bed and say nothing else about it forever.
Exactly. What a shocker.
Until the offseason when people bring it up again about how he's coming back.
You know he's still going to come up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don Sweeney, it's smoke. It's smoke. He's coming.
I gotta retweet that.
Sassy Blondie, by the way. I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
I think we should start calling him Mark Bubbles after his drunk capades last night.
And then we just call you Pickles?
Hey,
that's fine. That's fine. Mark can be Bubbles, I'll be Pickles, and you can be Sparkles. It's all done. Look at that.
Jason, I can answer that quickly for you. JFK was looking to get back into the NHL last year, so he terminated his contract with who was he playing with, Mark? Help me out here.
Who?
Jacob Forsbacka Carlson. I forget the name of the team. So
yeah, I don't remember.
Players in Europe have the option to terminate their contracts before June 15th if they are looking to get back into the NHL. It's an agreement that the NHL has with the IIHF. So JFK did just that, except nobody came calling, so he did not play hockey this year.
Yeah,
anywhere.
Yeah, and from my understanding, one of the reasons why he went over and he talked to the Bruins about getting out of the contract was because his father was ill.
Yeah,
and I remember seeing his mother at Providence Bruins games quite often because Anton Bleed and Forsbacka Carlson, they'd travel over together, and they were always at weekend games at the Dunk. So it was really cool to see them. Very nice people to talk to.
Yeah. Make it quick, Kevin. I got a comment on Allie's thing there.
Frank Saravelli, hearing the Florida Panthers are acquiring defenseman Robert Hagg from the Sabres.
Okay, so is that move the bar of filling in the spot for the LTIR of no,
wouldn't be enough. But he's I'm not too privy on this player, but I'm pretty sure he's more of a depth piece. Am I correct there, Dom? I'm not privy to the player.
He's going to be a depth piece. Florida's just jumping the gun here to get some depth.
Yep.
Allie's comment there, JFK needed to stay at BU one more year. And this is what I'm talking about with Mason Lohrei. That's exactly what the Bruins wanted to do with JFK. But JFK said no, he wanted to turn pro. And that basically ties the team's hands. They at that point, they have to sign him.
Well said. I'm just going to give me a second to get the Providence Bruins game up here in the Black and Gold Production studio, because I'll be watching that game as they play the final game of 3 down in Charlotte, North Carolina against the Checkers. And they are not doing very good down there. They lost Thursday night. They lost last night in a shootout. And hopefully they can come out with a win this afternoon at 1 p.m. Because they will drop in the standings quite drastically. Charlotte has a better record, but the Providence Bruins did have a better winning percentage, and the winning percentage sets the tone on the rankings in the division and conference. So not all doom and gloom for the Providence Bruins at all. I think they're going to be fine. They're just going into they're just playing a really, really tough team down in Charlotte. Here's one from Allie. She says, think Wagner could be dealt for a depth move.
Okay, hold on. Here's Lindholm's contract.
Okay.
Where's Kevin? Jesus, that guy ate his food.
Yeah.
Year one, $5.25 million salary, $2 million signing bonus. Year two, $6 million salary, $2 million signing bonus. Year 3 and 4 are the same, $6 million salary, $2 million signing bonus. Year 5, $6.35 million. And year 6, 7, and 8, $4.8 million salary. No signing bonuses. And nothing about no movement clause, no trade clause yet.
Yeah, I just got some Puckpedia shared with from Brett Howard. Thanks, Brett. Appreciate it. That's interesting. I'm gonna screenshot that. Lots of freaking awesome hockey talk to go around today.
Full no move clause from 2022-23, so that's next season, through to and including the 26-27 season, and then the final 3 years is a modified no trade 15-team no trade list.
Yep. So what do you think about that? What do you think about the trade protection? It's
like I said right at the beginning. The deal is constructed so that they could move him in the final years of the contract.
Yep.
And that's exactly what they've done here.
Yep. Not bad at all. Allie says props to his agent Claude Lemieux and the Bees for working out a great deal. And BG411 also has the details up here as seen. Thank you for the addition. Appreciate that. Anything else? Anything else going on?
Oh, I think the presser is over. I haven't been following.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait for the details to come out on Twitter because there'll be I'm sure that the PR staff is gonna have a video of and provide it to the social media account. So I'll be sure to watch that a little more detail as this goes on and watch this Providence Bruins game today. So hopefully everybody's having a great Sunday. We got unbelievable numbers again today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate everybody's support. If you can, we're going to stay here for a little bit longer and retweet this and share on your socials. We'd love to get even more viewers involved and more questions involved. So big thanks. Geez, tomorrow's going to be one of those days that the phone's going to go absolutely crazy.
You missed the Lindholm contract details, Kevin.
I have it right here. I've been reading it.
You have to go get food all the time.
I haven't. I didn't get food. I had to use the bathroom. I drink too much water.
Bullshit.
All right. So yeah, year one, $5.25 million base plus a $2 million salary bonus. I mean, that's good. And then 2 through 4, $6 million base plus the $2 million signing bonus. And then year 5 is just a 6.3 base, and then drops to 4.8 for the remaining years. I think that's good. But the no movement clause and no trade clause makes sense. Years 1 through 5, I figured that would be in there. That was a no-brainer for me, just because it makes sense for the player. But the years 6 to 8, 15-team no trade list definitely helps. But if you were to move them, you're probably going to have to retain on that.
But like we said from the beginning, it makes the deal movable in the end.
Exactly. So I think it's a great Great contract structure.
Oh yeah. Working the phones. What else? All right, where more?
I already brought food, by the way, Sparkles. See, I got my donuts right here.
Donuts.
I'm gonna call it Dom Donuts.
You are a donut.
I'm gonna be a donut if I keep eating donuts.
Craig Collier comes in here on the YouTube and asks a very interesting question. Hi guys, love the podcast and all the great info about the Bruins. One guy that no one is talking about, who I think would be a great fit in Boston, is Clayton Keller.
Agreed.
In Arizona. Any rumors on this?
I don't foresee them moving him, but I would take him.
It's so hard to understand what Arizona is doing, in my opinion, because they just basically get rid of all the really good players. They have high value, and they're really fully in the rebuild. So I don't know. I mean, anything could actually happen before tomorrow, but he is a very good player. Does have some Boston ties. I believe he went to BU, which is always going to be a narrative that's going to attract Boston Bruins fans too. That he's been in the area, likes the area. Why not come back?
Right.
But, you know, anything could happen, like I said.
Want to hear the return for Buffalo on that Robert Hagg deal. It is a 6th-round pick in 2022.
Wow.
That's it.
Yeah. It's depth move.
Yep.
Depth
This one from Dan Remmer on the YouTube. Anyone in Providence that you see being moved before the trade deadline? I'm not sure about that.
Maybe Studnicka.
Maybe Senishin. Who knows by tomorrow? Still holding my breath on that one.
Yeah, on that St. Louis one, huh?
Oh, yeah. That's going like 2 months now. So I should be dead like 8 times. Anything could happen down there, but those are, you know, we're working at the NHL level. So are they, but I'm not sure about if anybody else is going to be involved.
True Vegan. Can we pop his comment up?
Where is it at the bottom?
Right at the bottom there.
All right. Does anybody think that there is anybody on the roster at risk of being traded way outside of DeBrusque, 4th liners, 3rd pairing guys, scratches?
I think that there's a chance, but I think it's a slight chance that Sweeney takes some calls on one of Forbort or Riley, and that's just due to what the prices are going for right now, and with them just acquiring Lindholm. But most of me thinks that will be an off-season thing, and use those players in a depth situation going into the playoffs because of what happened last year.
I'm going to say if I was a betting man and I had to put money down on a player other than Jake DeBrusque being traded, then I would put it on Mike Riley.
Yeah, that's the one you're going to get the most value out of if you were to trade him right now at the deadline. Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking you could get a 2nd-round pick for him at this deadline. I really think so.
The way teams are paying, yeah, you probably could, and that'll help recoup. I'd even take a 2023 2nd rounder. Doesn't even have to be this year's.
Yep, I absolutely would.
This is from B-Boss. Would you go after Mark Giordano even though we got Lindholm?
No, I think that's going to be a 1st-round pick, and I'm all set.
Calgary is going to take him back.
If I'm giving up another 1st-round pick, which would be next year's 1st-round pick, it's going to be for something extremely significant, and it's going to be at the center position, and it's going to be something that you're going to have for years.
Yeah.
Matt Hunt comes in on the YouTube and asks, Jesper Bratt, for me, would be a decent move. I believe he's an RFA, 1 more year left, and a very strong season up to now. That's an interesting scenario. But is a general man. He plays for New Jersey, correct? Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, my gut tells me it's going to be something bigger. That what it is, no idea yet.
And like we were talking about, it could be something way out in left field that hasn't even been talked about.
Right.
I
Right.
mean,
Which is a Sweeney type of deal.
look at Winnipeg right now. Winnipeg apparently is taking calls on a good amount of players, and that includes their centers. I mean, I'm not going to put this name out here to get people thinking that it could happen, but you never know. But
Mark Scheifele?
yes,
Yep.
that
Yeah.
would be a move.
Pierre,
That would be a move and set the team up for years to come. But as I'm looking down the comments there, Pierre-Luc Dubois would be my number one choice.
Yeah, I said that. I think I said that to you this morning too, Dom.
You might have. I mean, I've been talking to so many people. I'm pissed off.
Yeah, I know. I know. Put pickles in the background. I know. I get it.
Pissed off that Windows updated and I lost a whole fucking spreadsheet of stats for my OHL stuff. So, sorry, people, I'm just kind of pissed today.
This would be your Mark Savard type like move from back in the day when you were transitioning from a Joe Thornton.
Yeah.
After that trade, I think he's 29 years old, near point per game player. Throughout his career, he's got 560 points in 631 games played. It would be a great person to put behind Bergeron if he comes back next season, or replace him with if he doesn't. I think that would be quite the move if they really are willing to move him, but it's going to take a first-round pick. It's going to take a guy like Lysell. Probably going to take another. It's probably going to be a Chychrun type deal. Even though Chychrun is younger, Dom's got a message. Let's all hold our breath. Even though he's younger, Chychrun is. It would take that type of deal.
Here's an interesting one while Dom gets on the phones. This is from Jason Brennan. Sweeney just said in his press conference on trading Jake DeBrusk, I'll continue to explore. That doesn't mean it happens.
Right. And I think that's been the move the entire time. He's going to try. But if it can't happen, it can't happen. I believe if they're circling to Raquel, though, that's, I think, their move. I think they're trying to set that up for if they do get a DeBrusk deal done, or it could be just a DeBrusk for Raquel swap. I mean, I'd do that. Like I said, I would do it in a heartbeat, a DeBrusk for a Raquel swap, because, I mean, who knows what you're going to get for him at a draft. I mean, and let's say, and you don't even know if the player is going to pan out at the draft that you get. So to take Raquel, to go for a cup this year and have the choice and have the possibility of him maybe extending if he's a good fit on that top line with Bergeron and Marchand, that's a good bet for me.
Let's go to this. Ooh, where is it? Pejman comes back with this one. I absolutely take calls on Riley. Locked up for 2 more years at $3 million AAV, and could be great value for another contender. Replenishing a second would be ideal.
He's a solid 5'4" guy. I think you could definitely get a decent. You might even be able to get a second and a pick for him. I mean, sorry, a second and a prospect for him. It's something definitely to look at. I mean, and hey, who knows? Maybe if the Leafs are that desperate, you might be able to get a first out of them.
Yeah. That would be nice.
Imagine that. Oh my God.
You come for full circle on that one.
Because they're going to get knocked out first round anyways. So I don't even have to see them if you make it out of the first round yourselves.
Lance comes in, says DeBrusk, Lysell for Larkin would do that in a heartbeat.
There'd be more on top of that, though.
Yeah, I think so too. I think
first round pick, a Sean. Again, you're looking at a Chychrun deal for that type of player. All right, it's time to bust into these donuts. It is.
Do it. Get it over with. Crunchy Cruncherson.
There'll be no crunching though once it's opened. Okay.
Make sure you clean your beard off too, eh?
Yeah.
No,
Well,
no
well,
crumbs.
Momo, what's happening? We've already pretty much gone over. Now all we can do is speculate. That's all we can really do until we get any more information on what could be happening.
Absolutely. It's all
Now,
content.
Mike makes a good point in trading. If you trade Riley, and I absolutely 100% agree.
Yep. Yeah. Brett Howard. He comes in. Butchie on Mark. Let's get him out there and get him play when he's ready to go. We are going to get him in here as soon as we can without disrupting the flow. But that's the plan with Mark. I'm talking Mark Mclaughlin.
Yep.
That's interesting. Thank you, Brett.
Apparently, according to Allie here, Lindholm is talking now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was supposed to talk right after Sweetie. I got a cigar someplace to celebrate, and I don't know where I put it.
Hopefully it's not lit.
No, I was
Jesus.
gonna light it.
You'd be like me last night.
You got to put on the sunglasses, though.
I will say the funny thing last night that I did. I had the Hungry Horrors after I shut this whole thing down abruptly, and I went downstairs and like busted open a box of Nilla wafers, and had a can of whipped cream with me. So I was sitting downstairs watching hockey, with like one eye open and just. Oh yeah, there you go. I love that. Just eating Nilla wafers and. My wife Courtney, she fucking just looks over at me and just starts laughing.
I just picture you standing there in the fridge with spaghetti sauce dribbling down your beard onto your shirt. Just
No, if that happens, I'm gonna reheat it.
No. You know the best way to eat spaghetti is fry it the next morning. It's awesome.
You know what? I'm gonna have to try that.
I'm an Italian, trust me.
Oh, I know. And if I don't agree with you, I'm gonna get whacked.
No, we had a comment up here that I want to take a look at real quick. It was the Brad Lister saying, "Hi guys, do you think the Bruins are kicking the tires on Dvorak from Habeland as an out of the box type deal?" I'm not sure on that.
From what I've heard about Dvorak is that teams out in the West are really interested in him because they've seen his game before. So I think that that would be ideal for them to probably go back out West and play. But that doesn't mean anything can happen.
Oh, there's a couple of Italians saying about how fried spaghetti is good the next day. So
yeah,
take note, Mark.
Oh God,
Dvorak. They didn't pursue him when he was available. I don't think they're going to pursue him now. And
right.
I don't know. I just can't. Jeff Gordon is going to ask for a haul there. So
Absolutely.
Jesus. Wow, look at this fried spaghetti stuff, man.
Hey, Kevin, you look like Foligno. I keep telling him that.
Yeah, that's the first time you've ever told me that, Dom.
Oh, no. I've told
Oh,
you.
yeah. I've never.
Why do you think I call you Bubbles?
Oh, so hold on. Is Foligno's nickname Bubbles? Is that it?
In Columbus, his nickname was Bubbles, buddy.
Well, then I guess you should have told me that.
Oh, well, I thought you knew that.
No, I'm not privy on Columbus culture.
Oh,
I love it. Angelo comes in. Yes, on the fried spaghetti. He's spot on. Jesus.
Lindholm thinks that the Bruins have a championship caliber team. You love to hear that from a player coming in. PR. But, I mean, maybe he really does think that. But, Lindholm, I love playing in the playoffs. I've missed it these last few years. And this is from Patrick Donnelly. Donnelly. Shout out to Patrick Donnelly.
Yep, former Black and Gold Hockey Productions colleague. Now left us to go right to the NHL.com. So
I think Lindholm should have come out and said, Me being here instantly turns his team into a contender. I'd love for a player to come out and say that.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, speaking of the website, we are looking for writers and content creators, whether it be YouTube, audio podcasts. If you got anything that's Bruins related that you want to get on off your mind, please let me know. You can reach out to me via cover letter, or let me know your experience if you're interested. Black and Gold Productions LLC at gmail.com. We'd love to get more people involved to grow our little sports media company to a bigger level. We've got a lot of great people that produce a lot of good content.
Who made this comment? See if you guys can guess. Ready to go to battle for anyone in the organization.
Hampus Lindholm, since he's talking.
Oh, are you watching?
Are you watching?
No.
Oh, okay. Wow,
No,
that's pretty good.
I'm just reading the quotes that come up.
Well, read them out loud.
I have been.
I like what Craig says here. And it's probably alluding to what you're saying. Anywhere I go, I know I'm going to make a difference. That's confidence right there.
That's what I want to see.
That's huge confidence right there.
He's also said, I'm just ready to get in that locker room and play some hockey games. Well, we welcome you there.
Your move, any word on where Lindholm is now and whether he'll be in Montreal tomorrow? It's already been ruled out that he's not playing tomorrow night and will likely get into the lineup on Thursday.
Here's a good one right here. Hampus Lindholm said that he received a call from both Patrice Bergeron and Brad Marchand after the deal went through, and then said, I respect them massively.
Nice. Good. Nice.
Oh, I like Craig's question down at the bottom because we were asked this yesterday. Sorry, guys, my phone keeps going, but
It's all right. That's what you do, Dom.
I'm still on an Eberle train. I mentioned that yesterday. I definitely would still take that as a top 6 pickup. I think he be a good addition to the Marchand Bergeron line.
And he's out in Seattle.
Yeah, so, I know you looked it up yesterday. He's a UFA, Kevin?
Correct. Oh, hold on. Nope. I'll get back to it. Hold on. Let's see here. No, he's got 2 more seasons after this one.
At
a 5.5. Oh, wait.
Look at this. Look at this. Brett
5.5.
Brett coming in here with the speech, teaching. This is not the guy you need teaching anybody about speech.
Go to the washroom, Brett.
Yeah. Foligno.
Eberle. I'm not calling him Eberle. I'm calling him Eberle.
Eberle.
Like Chevrolet.
I probably said Eberle.
And it's Z, not Z.
Yes, that's right.
No, Eberle would be correct, Mark.
Oh, okay.
Eberle, like I said, is apparently wrong, but I don't care. He's Eberle.
Let me ask you this on a serious note. If they acquired Eberle, would you pair him with Halla and Hall and move Pasternak back to the top line?
No.
Not even with the chemistry Eberle had with Hall?
No. And my reason is because I haven't seen Pasternak be this good all year since going with Hall.
But
thank you very much. We truly appreciate that. Anything that you guys can do on the Patreon is very much appreciated.
Okay, Kevin. How much? What are you laughing at?
Sorry. This is true vegan. Mark couldn't pronounce anything after a few Zimas last night.
That's so true.
That's true.
It is true.
It was quite hilarious, though.
I remember when I said to him, I'm like, Mark, dude, are you good? you are drunk, man. He's just like, yeah,
I
am
think
I
that's what
really,
I think that
dude?
I think that's when I really started to go down when I got called out, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
You're like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm good, man. I love the signing, dude. And you just I was thinking in my brain, I can't wait for Mark to be sober tomorrow so I can get his real thoughts on this trade.
Well, he did quite a bit afterwards too, right?
Yeah. Apparently, the stream was live for like 4 extra hours.
Can you guys hear that outside my window?
The sun?
No. Ducks were quacking out there. That's a sign.
Uh-oh. It was a sign a week and a half ago, too.
Yeah, and it worked out, did it not?
It did. It did work out. So that means Ricard Raquel. Rental.
Comtois.
Oh, yeah, Max Comtois. That's what
I'm waiting. Back to Eberle.
Yep.
And Kevin's comment. So, how much of Pasternak having the slow start was due to I hate to bring this up, but the stuff he and his girlfriend went through in the summer, and how much of the resurgence was actually due to Taylor Hall rather than him moving on in life.
It's possible, Dom. Of course that's possible. But I mean, I would at least try Eberle with Marchand and Bergeron first, just to see if that works out well, and you can continue that second line success. But if it doesn't work out, then yeah, I try flip-flopping them, see what happens. I mean, that's where I'm at. Okay. I really like Hall and Pasta together. They're so much fun. I love them.
Right, real quick, I'll be right back because I need some more water, and I need to get a subscription on Hooked on Phonics because Michael suggested I need some. So I will be right back, gentlemen.
Oh, man.
Oh, look at that. Allie. Hampus Lindholm says the Ducks offered more money for an extension. I just lost it. Can you find it? But not as much term, which is what I was saying the other day, Kevin, was that I don't believe that it's the money and that it's the term that he was looking for. And that's
I agree.
Had that back and forth about going the 8 years and bringing the cap hit down.
Nope, I agree. I definitely agree on that. I think because, I mean, I remember we both said that the sticking point for him was probably that 8 years. He wants the security. And they weren't willing to. Now, my question is how high in term were they? I'm assuming they had to have been about 6 years.
I can tell you.
$6 years, 7.25.
6 years. And then you said 7 times 7. And I said I'd rather add $1 million and go for 8 years, which would bring it to 8 years, $50 million. So they went just a little over that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm assuming that they went 6 years at about 7.25. That's what I'm assuming.
But
or 7.5, who knows?
Yeah. So, but the Bruins structured the contract in a way that they could bring the cap hit down and make it movable in the last couple of seasons.
Yep.
But at 36 years old, a player like Lindholm is still going to be a player like Lindholm.
Right.
Correct? I think we agree on that.
Absolutely.
And William says here, do you see any teams taking cap dumps today and tomorrow? Yes. Again, I don't have cap friendly on in front of me, but if you look at these teams that are in long-term injury reserve space, their only option is to trade away cap dumps. And that's the teams that have the cap space, that like Arizona or Buffalo, that are going to be able to absorb that.
Yes, Momo. I did buy a Hamilton jersey back when Hamilton was on this team. I need to get a new away jersey to replace it for my wall.
The one above that, Kevin, you pronounce that name because you do it so well.
What, Pasternak?
No, Pejman.
Oh, I was like, I thought you meant above the jersey. Pejman Haya Klein Haga Hagi.
Could you type out how to pronounce your name?
And this isn't mean. He likes it. He told me he did. He likes when I try. All right. So is LA going to seal the deal for Chychrun by tomorrow? I feel that like Arizona would be better off waiting until the offseason. I think you said it right there. They're definitely better off now waiting until the offseason, especially if they are unsure about trading within conference to LA.
Yeah, I think we talked about it yesterday. The last info I got was that they bumped the Bruins. The Bruins went back to Lindholm, and now Arizona is chickening out about trading him within the conference.
Here's my question, Dom. Does the price go down for a player like Chychrun in the offseason compared to like a rush that teams need today?
No.
Okay.
No, because you still have him for 3 more years at a fantastic cap hit. Momo, that is something Kevin made for me that's supposed to be the Stanley Cup and says the Dom. That is the Bruins calendar. That is
Mast? Is that Mast?
Ryan Mast. What I do is I hang pictures of people we bring in on the podcast here. Ryan Mast is going to be scheduled to come in soon. Next to him is Brett Harrison. Yeah. And beside him is Matthias Mantikibi, who we had on, 2 weeks ago, Mark?
Yep.
And up there was somebody else made that for me when I think it was when I broke the actual Braden Shen to Boston news that never came true. Made out a thing that said, "Never doubt the Dom."
Love it. All right.
Yeah, I don't have any fan art yet. We'll see one day. Fan art. Someone can draw me with candy corn up my nose or something, since apparently I'm Bubbles, Nick Foligno.
That's funny. Ali comes in and says Hampus Lindholm is planning to come to Boston on Monday to get ready for Thursday's game.
Good.
Also, she also mentioned something about maybe he's not playing in Montreal tomorrow because there might be some visa issues.
There shouldn't be any visa issues because he's already played.
Okay.
In Canada, so
okay, all right, then maybe it's
what's that Facebook user?
Facebook user. Hang on a second. Let me get to the bottom of this. I think we could get a good
power forward,
like when we had Cam Neely. Do you think we could get someone like that? Any ideas?
You people are going to hate. Look, just like everybody hates Brad Marchand unless he was on their team, everybody hates Tom Wilson unless they were on his team. I'd love a player like Tom Wilson. Is there one out there? I don't know.
Yeah.
I would take Cam Neely. I would take Tom Wilson. But Momo, he did explain it. Never doubt the Dom. The lettering is Dom, isn't it like Bruins logos, like kind of with different letters in there?
The B in the word doubt is the Bruins logo, and the NDT D is in Bruins gold color.
Yeah, there you go. So it's just a little bit lighter. It needs to be darker, but it's not. So, so Sweeney had a little bit more to add on Lindholm, and he said, "We're one of the teams that probably gives up one of the least amount of expected goals. So we've done a good job overall, but the depth, the impact that we needed and identified was something we felt that we wanted to address. and this goes back to the offseason. Both Don Sweeney and Cam Neely came out and said, we need a top 4 left shot defenseman. They weren't able to take care of it. They tried. They 100% tried in that offseason, but there wasn't a lot available. By the 28th, there was already players who were ready to go elsewhere. Alexiak was ready to go to Seattle. And I don't even know how true of a top 4 guy he is anyway. Lindholm, I would much rather have. And then you have Alec Martinez, who they put in, it's rumored that they put in a better deal than Vegas did to get him, but he wanted to stay in Vegas, so he stayed in Vegas. So they really tried in the offseason, but they were able to make it happen. And you got to say kudos to that front office for bringing in Lindholm when they knew that it was the piece they needed that they didn't get.
The key words for me in those comments, Kevin, were one of the least expected goals against, because not many people know this, but the Bruins have the largest analytics department in the NHL. And they put a lot of people think it's Toronto, but it's not. It's your Boston Bruins. And they put a lot of emphasis on analytics, and any transaction they make is heavily weighted towards analytics.
If you guys want any updates on the Providence Bruins, it is in the first period, midway through the opening frame. The score is tied at 1, and Providence has 9 shots, and the host Charlotte Checkers have 5. Kyle Kaiser is in net, and yeah. Hopefully they get this win. Need something good to write about. All right. Dr. Silly Pants. I love this. I love that guy. They never really replaced Chara or Krug. Lindholm has aspects of both players.
That's actually true. I actually found out recently that Lindholm has been quarterbacking the power play over there in Anaheim. That's something I was not really known. I didn't know that. But he's got 4 power play points on the year. Not exactly eye-popping there. So I think you still have better options for your power play, and I think you can allow him to put most of his focus onto the PK and to the 5-on-5 play.
I'll tell you what, though, if the power play suffers for a stretch, I wouldn't be surprised to see Lindholm on the first unit over Grizz to try something different, because that power play is better with a left shot defenseman back there. Unfortunately, Grizz wasn't the guy to make it work.
Yeah, because they have McAvoy in there right now. So
yeah,
but he's not that great on the power play either, in my opinion, right now.
Just want to answer the question. Who scored for the P Bruins? And that was Jesper Froden. He scored his 13th from Oscar Steen and Sean Fogarty on the power play. How's Senishin looking today? I haven't really been paying attention because we've been doing the live streams, so I'm kind of bouncing around. My bad.
Yeah, you're bad.
Yep. Here's another one. What's Kaiser's potential? He had a bunch of injuries. Yeah, I mean, mostly concussion related, especially the last year of his when he was in Oshawa with the OHL. He sustained 2 concussions, and then when he turned pro with
Don't
Providence,
forget the one at the World Junior Championship.
Oh, I didn't even forget that. I mean, I didn't even remember that. But also got injured in his first year of pro when he was playing for the East Coast, the ECHL Atlanta Gladiators. But has slowly, risen up a little bit this year. I think he's all right. Somebody, I mean, I don't know where his projection would be in NHL terms, but he's a good middle depth goaltender. Filling the crease right now, along with Troy Grosnick, who's having an unbelievable season.
When the Bruins signed Kyle Kaiser as an undrafted free agent, he had #1 NHL goaltender written all over him. Absolutely.
Now,
Um,
okay.
it's sometimes players just never really recover from injuries, especially the type that he's had. Um, he lost development time because of the pandemic. He had to deal with the injuries. And basically, through his whole entry level contract, he's lost a lot of development time.
Yep. Now Dom, I want to ask you a question. His signing, was that a rush signing to get another goaltender in the fold of development? Because the Vegas Golden Knights took a flyer on the waiver claim on Malcolm Subban?
Yes and no. Yeah, I mean they knew exactly what they were getting because they had watched Jack Stanika that whole year for the draft. I actually had Kaiser ranked as the number 3 goalie coming out of the OHL. First was Mikey DiPietro, who went to the Canucks, and then Matthew Villalta, who went to, I believe, Columbus. And then I had Kyle Kaiser after that. I honestly, at the time, would have used a 3rd-round pick to select Kaiser, and I'm surprised he never got drafted.
Yeah.
But he was my number one choice of undrafted players to be signed as free agents, and the Bruins got him. I'll be honest, at one point I made it very, very clear that he was the Bruins' next future number 1 goaltender, and even ahead of Jeremy Swayman, and people thought I was nuts. And then look at who got the nod for the USA at the World Junior Championships. Yep. It was Kaiser over Swayman until he got that concussion there. So,
sorry, I'm just on the phone. Exactly.
I think we all are.
Yeah, just getting the updates, refresh. You know, it's crazy. Let's go to Pejman again. Read what he's got. Bruins can compete with anyone, but is there any single move remaining that they could make that you'd say put them right with Tampa Bay, Florida, Carolina? For me, it's adding Copper Raquel, which would make 2 moves.
For me, it's adding Chikrin. You add Chikrin, I think you're good. I think you can compete with anyone. That's in addition to the Lindholm. I think you're just solid.
Realistically, though.
Yeah, well, technically it is still kind of realistic.
Well, is that the kind of answer you really want to give? You don't think there's anybody else?
Give us if they were to go out and get a 2C and a right wing and another depth defenseman, I'd be on board with them being right there with Tampa and Carolina. Is that better, Dom?
That's much better.
I love it.
But I would love to see them go out and get Chikrin right now, because that'd be so funny. Could you imagine that? Oh my God.
Who knows? Maybe Sweeney gets a call back from Arizona and says, "Hey, listen, we'll drop X and give you Chikrin because we don't want to deal him to LA."
Exactly.
All right. Anything else in the chat you guys want to ask? Oh, this is. Oh man.
I call my stomach Ironside. I'm good.
That's funny.
Yeah, Momo, watching him eat sometimes gives me the Willy Jillies.
The Willy Jillies.
The what?
I love it.
Willy what?
It's almost too quiet, Ali says. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's always quiet before the storm, Ali.
Yes. I remember before the Lindholm stuff dropped, it was Mark throwing back a few, and you and I sitting back in our chairs looking at our freaking phones. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, boom, there it is.
There it was.
Yeah.
Does anybody know what time they get on the plane?
No idea.
No, I don't.
Gatorade's good, man. I don't know, Dusty. I like Gatorade. It's delicious.
Let's see. This is from Jason on the YouTube. Do you guys think Vegas tries to rush Stone back in fear of missing the playoffs? And if they do you think Smith becomes available to make space for him? That's.
I was going to bring up Riley Smith today, and I forgot to. Oh, my God.
Well, you still got time.
Well,
do it.
Jason beat me to it. Riley Smith.
Okay.
I mean, if he comes available, I mean, that's definitely a good look to take a look at and see what you could get there. I don't think it costs you a first-round pick. I think you could probably get him at a second and a couple other pieces there, but I would definitely welcome Riley Smith back.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how they work the cap with the addition of Jack Eichel and so on.
This one's good for Dom. Pachees Bergeron. Pachees Bergeron.
He says, how positive are you that Sweeney makes another move today? Where are we? We 75, 80, 90, 99?
Don't let him say 99% because that didn't work out well last time.
I'm confident it happens today.
How confident?
I don't know. I don't want to put a percentage on it. But
like you'd send me $100. You'd send me $100 if they don't. Are you that confident?
No.
Oh, okay. So that's we're all right. $50. You send me $50 if they don't.
No.
Okay, he's not even that. 25.
I'm saying that the big deals usually happen before trade deadline day. Trade deadline day are left for depth moves and teams scrambling to dump players for lesser because they thought they could have moved it by now and don't want to get stuck with it. So with Boston, because they're traveling today, that puts a little dent in the time and when something's going to happen, because obviously nothing's going to happen while they're 30,000 feet up in the air.
That's right. It's not like it's Air Force One and you got all kinds of communications up there. Just kidding.
And
Sweeney said in the cockpit on the freaking telegram.
now, Don Sweeney on Jake DeBrusk. I'll continue to explore. That doesn't mean it happens, which is something that I've been saying for the last 6 weeks. They're probably looking at him as their own rental. And that tells me 2 center is the spot that they're looking to upgrade.
I have a feeling Justin Braun is going to be coming here. I just have an odd feeling on that. Because Sweeney was already working with Philly on a jeru deal. And yeah. I see Braun as someone this team could use. I could see Sweeney bringing him in as a depth piece on that right side. Big body, plays physical, makes sense.
I want to touch on this one because it relates to prospects. Philip Svedabak is currently playing with the Dubuque Fighting Saints in the USHL, and they're having a pretty tough year. But I think he's doing okay. I think he's going to do a lot better when he goes to Providence College in the NCAA next season, where he's committed to go, and then be that much closer to the tutelage of Bob Asenza and Mike Dunham and so on. So still a work in progress. I think it's still a good pick to, it's a small gamble to take him. And I think it was the 3rd round, a 4th rounder.
He's a lot like Kaiser was. Injuries have ruined his year of development. He came into the season as Dubuque's #1 goaltender, and unfortunately injuries happened this year and he's lost that #1 starter's role. There was a few games there where he looked absolutely dreadful coming back, but he just went on a 3-game winning streak where he looked lights out. And then I think it was last night or 2 nights ago, he let in 6 goals on 34 shots. So
it was Friday. It was Friday night because I remembered that. It wasn't last night.
Like I said, yesterday has just rolled into today. I don't even know what day it is. So, he's going to be somebody who's interesting to watch to see what happens. And I don't base anything on this season just because of the injuries he's been through. He's had 2 injuries that caused him to miss significant time. So,
Okay.
For everybody out there, that in 3 days is the NHL CHL Top Prospects game. In Canada, it's broadcast on TSN, and in the States, it'll be on the NHL Network. I think it's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I get to be there live in Kitchener for that one. So if you want to get a sneak peek at some draft-eligible players, there you go. Tune into that game.
Absolutely.
Ew, Drew looks weird. Go ahead.
Nicholas Alexander and Ali Foley have both said that the plane leaves at 2 p.m.
And that's in 20 minutes.
Yep.
What is it, a 40-minute flight to Montreal?
6 hour, 7 hour drive. Yeah, probably less than an hour. Interesting question here from Momo. Why did Jeru pass on the Bruins? Does anybody actually know?
I have no clue.
Because he's a ginger.
The ginger, Jesus. You're the one that's got the Hamilton jersey on the wall.
Yeah, I know. I know.
All right.
No, I don't know. I have no idea why. I mean, obviously, I think it's just because he thinks he can win in Florida more than he can win here in Boston. And I think a little bit of it has to do with the fact that the Flyers and Boston have had a long-going rivalry, and maybe he doesn't want to switch uniforms that way.
I'm gonna paraphrase something Jamie Langenbrunner said. I think it was 2 years ago. Yeah, I have to paraphrase it. I can't remember the exact quote, but I'm not going to lose sweat over Claude Giroux picking anybody over Boston. I really couldn't care less because, as Langenbrunner said, and this goes to college free agents. It's why they don't bend over backwards to give them contracts that they can burn out of quickly. But basically, he said, we want players that want to be Boston Bruins. We don't care what their names are or where they come from. That's what we want in the organization.
Interesting. Cal Clutterbuck is sitting today.
Interesting. I brought him up not too long ago.
This is from another smart Italian. I take it.
He makes 3.5 mil.
So is Andy Green.
Yeah, Cal Clutterbuck. I mean, he's got some nasty to his game.
Yeah.
He would bring some nasty to that fourth line if looking for something like that, kind of like something that Delorier could have brought. But I think Delorier is a bit more offensively skilled than Clutterbuck. But
I know one thing. I'm just really happy that we're off the we need to get Kyle Palmieri train.
Oh, that was fun last year.
Yeah,
and then we get Hall, and we're like, woo.
Yeah,
or Miles Wood.
Miles Wood is another one.
Miles Wood, though.
He's got some jam. Oh man,
I like him.
He could be a
star. So back to Clutterbuck. Where would you put him?
Fourth line.
Yeah, but who are you taking out?
Lazar. Even though I wouldn't want to take out Lazar, I mean, it's just I think he brings that nasty that this team needs. I mean, kind of like what Mark was saying about Delorier, it's like team needs a bit of nasty. They do. You need someone to punch Maroon in the nose in the first round.
All right. True Vegan is now put in his trade order, and let's talk about it. Today's plan, DeBrusque for Kopp, rental, even as possible. Try to upgrade RD3 to scratch Clifton with his partner, Forbert. Whatever it takes to never again dress Foligno while I'm putting my order in.
No.
No.
Not on no to the Foligno part of it. I mean, I would do DeBrusque for cop rental wise. I would do that if there was a chance of extending. But yeah, get a right D. I'm with that, but the Foligno part's where you lose me. I think Foligno is going to be we've talked about this ad nauseum on this podcast about how important he's going to be not only in the locker room but on the ice in the playoffs.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. He wasn't brought here to be a regular season type player. He was brought here for the playoffs. And his true value will come out when it comes playoff time.
Another defenseman is still definitely something that I'd like to see come through. Depth, of course, because at this point it would be depth because I think your top four is pretty much set there. You have four legitimate top four guys now. Four of them.
Right, but if you bring an upgrade in for Clifton without moving Clifton, you just created depth by making that move as well.
Oh, of course, that's what I mean. When I say bring in depth, I mean like a bottom pairing guy for that right side. That's depth to me.
Well, depth to me is a 7 or 8 or 9.
I guess that's true. So bring in a right D. Yeah, bring in a third pairing right defenseman to create more depth within your organization.
Middleton, Dr. Silly Pants. Is that you in disguise, Kevin?
Yeah. That's me. Dominator.
Oh, I thought you didn't wear pants during the podcast.
Oh, Jesus. Let's not start this trend, please.
Yeah, I don't want to get into this conversation, man. I'm not. But Middleton, I mean, I don't see why they would. I don't see why they'd move him. Now, I have a question for you guys. Can Middleton play both sides? Because I have people telling me that he can, but I've never seen any indication that he can. I've never seen it on the ice. I haven't seen anything.
I seen it in junior with Owen Sound Attack. I have not seen it in the NHL, but mind you, I haven't watched all 56 or 58 of his games, whatever number he's at. So I can't say. But San Jose is going to try and re-sign him. So,
and as they should.
Yeah.
But if not, Middleton would be a fantastic grab for your bottom pairing.
Yeah, and then I think you're set at defense.
Absolutely. If you had a Forbort, Middleton on your third pairing in the playoffs, that's a tough one to play against. It's a rough third pairing right there. Bruising.
Oh, I can't wait to see freaking Lindholm play for the black and gold.
Oh, I know.
Seriously.
Mark, I've been talking about this since the offseason. Do you remember?
I know.
I've been on the Lindholm train since the offseason. I
think you wrote about him a year ago when you were writing for us.
I probably did. I mean, I was big on them trying to move him. And then as the season went on and you saw the Ducks playing well, people would start going, oh, he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. I was like, well, let's see if he even wants to stay there or if he can even get an extension done. Because if they can't get an extension done, I don't see the Ducks keeping him. I see him moving him because they're not winning a cup this year. And here we are. He's a Bruin. They moved him. Pumped.
I think Kevin needs to take on True Vegan's question there.
Sassy Blonde in the house. What's up, Sass? True Vegan. There you go.
Foligno is a minus machine. Is he a plus in the playoffs? Intangibles are tough to evaluate, and I do see the value of an old star, current scrub. But I do know winning is also great in the room. All right, so what I want to say first is that Nick Foligno had a rough start to his Bruin tenure because he didn't really have a place. He was learning the system. He was getting tossed around onto this line, this power play. Now you're off the power play. He had an injury there. He didn't have any time to settle in and get accustomed to an area to be in. Do I wish that he had a bit better of a productive season so far? Of course, and I'm sure he does as well. But now when you look at him on that fourth line, he is fitting in there very nicely on that fourth line. Him and Nosek together are proving not only through the eye test, but analytically, that they are a solid pairing on that fourth line. So that's where I keep him. I mean, you're not going to be able to move him. And if he's working on your lineup, regardless of where it is, it's better value for that 3.8 than it is to sit his ass on the bench. So that's where I'm at.
There you go.
I'm with you 100%.
Matt Hunt comes in and asks about the draft pick. As we gave up a lot of picks for Lindholm, does that rule out us trying to acquire McBain's rights? I know that Matt didn't have enough time to put the name in there, but I saw it later on. The Bruins still have a second, and I hear
that's the asking price.
Yeah, I hear that it's a second in the asking price, and what was it, like a mid-level prospect?
No, it's just a second.
Okay.
I brought up the thing of a mid-level prospect because the Bruins are picking late second. So if Columbus came in and offered their second, the Bruins would have to make up the difference between where they would be picking and Columbus would be picking to make it worthwhile for Minnesota.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's see. Nicholas comes in and says he hopes that they make a move while we are on here. Yeah, we'd love to freaking read it from Twitter and say it on the live stream. So that would be fantastic.
I got a little juicy something here.
Uh-oh. Is it a steak?
I wish. Or a burger.
Pork chop?
Or a pork chop. Shake and bake pork chop. That'd be delicious. But I'm waiting on one more message here.
Awesome.
Turn your phone the other way around to see it, Kevin.
What?
You gotta turn your phone around to read your message.
All right. So on the Chris Johnson show, he says that he's expecting Jake DeBrusk to get moved. It's very much in the works. Contract will be worked out with the new team before or after the trade, before or after he gets traded.
Interesting.
Who said that?
Chris Johnston on the Chris Johnston Show, which is a really good program, good podcast on the Steve Dangle Network.
I question that for the simple reason is he's on the flight to Montreal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that means he'll be there past tomorrow's 3:00 deadline.
So you trade him. You've now got to fly him out and fly a replacement in.
It's not very lean, in my opinion.
Unless the replacement is coming from the DeBrusk trade. Never know. I mean, Chris Johnson's definitely not a name to, put your nose up at, but I can definitely see why you have reservations on that, Dom. So I guess we'll just wait and see, right? If that does indeed become true. And maybe that person might be Raquel.
Well,
quack, quack, quack.
I still think they would have been better off to leave him in Boston and bring somebody because if they trade him for Raquel's not making it to Montreal for tomorrow's game.
Yeah, and Allie just said here he may not be on the flight. No one knows for sure.
That's true.
We'll find out soon enough.
We'll find out in 40 minutes, Dom.
39 and a half.
And good stuff. Brett fed me that. He was just listening to the podcast. Thank you, Brett. Appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate the support and from Brett and so many other people on this.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see today's numbers because I think it's going to be even higher than yesterday. we had almost 1,000 viewers on YouTube. So yesterday, it would be awesome to break those numbers and be a fantastic weekend of Bruins content. We should do this more often, folks. Really, we should do a weekly live stream.
Oh no, my head couldn't stand it.
People love the Dom, though. I got to tell you, they love the insight.
We'd have to enroll Mark into Alcoholics Anonymous.
Listen, I promise to drink water. This show is now sponsored by H2O.
H2O.
I doubt it. Jason Brennan, I doubt it. That's funny. William McDonald comes in saying thanks for doing this, guys. I burned enough daylight. Got some stuff around the house to get done. Well, be careful out there. Be safe. And thank you very much for the support, William. Really appreciate you coming in. Stop by again when we do this every week and watch Dom's head explode.
Oh.
It gets bigger and bigger every single time. So eventually it's going to pop.
Small head.
What else can we go? McLaughlin was practicing with the Bruins. Yep, we knew that.
The Don Sweeney on Twitter says, "Don't be surprised if a former Bruin rejoins the Bees."
And that automatically sets up speculation for
Kessel.
Dougie Hamilton.
Milan Lucic.
Yeah, I'm all ready for you, Hammy.
Tyler Seguin.
Yeah, we had that fun discussion yesterday while you were drunk, Mark.
Bobby Orr.
Joe Thornton.
That's funny.
Ryan Donato.
Riley Smith. It's probably the most logical one out of all of them if they were to move him.
Lance, keep the
Colin Miller. Actually, there was a deal on the place for Colin Miller recently that was said no to, if I'm not mistaken.
Lance, keep the pink wit out of Mark's reach. Actually, I haven't been drinking the pink wit anymore.
The stuff looks weird. It looks like pink lemonade. Greg McKegg.
I just love the name.
Good old McKegg. Zarnik. Talking about Krejci. Yeah, right. Oh, my God. Thank God that's over. Jesus.
I thought you said it wasn't going to come up again. It just did.
Someone just brought it up, yeah.
Told you.
Carson Kuhlman.
No.
How about Jeremy Lauzon?
That would be amazing. If you could move Riley.
So as your third pairing guy and get rid of Riley and Forbort?
Yeah. Why not? In a NHL 22 game mode, yeah, I could see it working.
I agree.
You would overload that side, though.
I'll tell you, I loved his willingness to bang and hit, and he would stick up for a teammate, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I saw that several times in Providence.
How's Mojo doing this season, Allie? How is he doing as far as production goes?
Not good.
I was pretty much, yeah, I could assume that, yeah.
Well, the team's not very good either. I think the model that what was it, Ron Francis used on this particular expansion draft, I was thinking he would go after what they did in Vegas, but went a totally opposite way.
They did their drafting crayon. That's all I'm going to say.
Right. So, the teams, what it looks like right now is really not that good, but it's work in progress, obviously.
McCann was great.
Yep.
That's a good get for them. I like the Gord pick. It still puzzles me why they did not take Tarasenko. I mean, I love Dunn and everything, but they could have used that star power in Tarasenko. I don't think Giordano was enough as that star power, and now he's about to be out the door anyway. I mean, it was just weird to me. Because everyone was questioning Tarasenko because of, the injury stuff. But he said he was fine now. He said, I'm fine now. I'm good. They messed up his surgery, twice? I think it was. the medical staff there in St. Louis. They messed it up twice. So, I mean, I don't know. From Seattle, I'm like, all right, I'm bringing you in. Vladimir Tarasenko.
Ali says that Mojo's got 6, 17, 23, and 51 games.
Yeah, I'm good. Doesn't move the needle for me.
All right.
I don't know where else to go from here because I don't know when we're going to see a trade. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully it happens sometime soon. Who knows? But if and when it happens, I'm sure we'll have some content for it or talk about it on Wednesday's episode, I think 272 of the Black and Gold Hockey Podcast. Please go and subscribe to that on your listening platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. We're all over the place. Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio. So go check it out. And also, please subscribe to this YouTube channel and click the like button because it really helps the algorithm. We get more noticed and so on. So we would truly appreciate that. We got like 40 additional subscribers just yesterday. See what Dom does to us? Increases the value.
Oh,
yeah. Dom, if you were a guessing man, how much longer do you think that we should stay on this podcast?
When are they landing? What time is it? 2:00.
Nicholas says it's an hour and 20-minute flight.
It's that long from Boston to Montreal?
I don't know if that's accurate, but
Fuck, I could drive it in 3.5 if I didn't have to stop at the border.
it's true.
Tankrat.
Monday at 3 p.m.
Are you going to stay awake with us or what? It's just going to be freaking us sleeping all night.
I don't know. I imagine if something is in the works and they're just waiting, that we could probably hear about it by 4:00. As soon as he lands, gets into the hotel, answers his phone, checks in with Evan Gold, files it with the league, I would say 4:00.
So you're suggesting we stay on here for another 2 hours?
Oh, I'm not suggesting that.
Well, that was my question. How much longer should we be on this podcast for?
We can go right now and
what, like take a break and come back for an hour and see if something pops?
oh, buddy, I'm going to bed if we take a break. I'll just set my alert
Going to
on the
bed?
phone.
You just woke up.
No. I was up at 4 a.m. working.
So Mr. Tankrat comes on and says Peter Mrazek on waivers.
There you go, Edmonton.
Oh, man.
There you go.
Oh, Toronto.
That means Toronto's ready to do something.
Yep,
Mhm.
they're making moves. Oh, Toronto, you've done it again in my best Magoo voice.
Do you
I
think
would
do you
love-
think there's a chance that Edmonton picks him up?
No. Well, what? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That might even be better than what they have.
Guy,
As much as I want this to happen, I don't see Lou Lamoriello swinging this far. But Craig Collier comes on and says, would the Islanders ever entertain trading Barzal to Boston? Think about a Hall, Barzal, and Pasta line. Oh, Jesus.
I mean, I would like to line, but I'm going to get shit on for saying this.
Shit on him.
Especially,
I'll be right back.
especially after the 2015 draft for the Bruins. But I said then, said it a number of times since then, and I'll say it again. If Matt Barzal is your guy and is the leader of your team and is the guy you're looking for to lead the team, you're not winning a championship.
Oof. Wow.
Much like Islanders fans complained that John Tavares was not a leader and was not going to, as great of a player as he is, And I mean, you see it in Toronto. He's better as a secondary piece as opposed to the piece, and I think that's what you have in Matt Barzal. I did a breakdown of him in his first year. It's something that I call second chance opportunities. He was great. He had a fantastic year, but I compared what his numbers were like the first time facing a team versus the second time facing a team. So, for example, if he played Washington and he had X number of points the first time, then faced Washington the second time and his production dropped, and then did that for every team throughout the season. And his second and third and fourth time facing the team, depending on whether they were in his division, his production dropped every single time. Now you go on to his second year, his third year, his fourth year, whatever, do the math. You see which way his production is trending. Fantastic player. Would love to play her, but he's not going to be the guy to lead you. He's going to be that secondary complementary piece.
Well said.
And I'm sorry Kevin missed that because I know he's a huge Matthew Barzal fan.
Oh yeah. Full list of waivers too. Mr. Tankrat comes in. Riley Nash is on waivers. Richardson from Calgary is on waivers. Turris is on waivers.
Put them up so I can see you.
Oh, you got it. So, Yaros, Clifford, Mrazek, Sateri, Pouliot. Jeez. Lots of action. People looks like they're making room.
Nobody there catches my eye.
All right.
James, good question.
There you go.
Why does it matter? In scouting, I'll tell you why it matters in scouting. You want to see a natural progression in players, how they adapt, how they develop, how they react under adversity, and so on and so forth. If you're not showing that progression, you're either stale or stagnant. You want to see a continuous rise, especially for a young player like Barzal was, or still is. To see a decline when you're meeting an opponent for the second or third or fourth time, and you continue to decline, that's not a good sign. That means you can't be the go-to guy. You can't be the guy to lead, and that makes you more of a complementary piece than that go-to guy. I don't have his career numbers in front of me. I'm not going to call them up, but I'm going to suggest, like I said, I did the math in his first season, and you saw a reduction in his second meeting with the team, and then third, and then fourth. And I think over the time he's been in the NHL, he really hasn't had a great season compared to his first couple of seasons in the league.
Yeah. I like this one. This is from Andrew Peterkin. As soon as I saw Dom in his shades yesterday, I felt intimidated enough to subscribe. So I like it.
He's going to put them on now. Here we go.
Getting the numbers up. We need more subscribers. Let's go, Dom. LFG. There we go. Now we got to look at my.
Now the real Dom is here.
Yes.
The denominator.
The denominator.
As Kevin likes to call me.
I don't like to call you that. You called yourself that once.
I could show. Everybody can just text me, and I'll show you the text. Show them the text.
All right, let me pull it up. I'll spend the time right now to find it.
Chris Nosek asking Dom, any new Dom bombs for today?
Not yet.
Not yet. Hold your breath, Chris.
No, I'm not scrolling through all that, but I know I'm right, so it doesn't matter.
Brett's comments there are pretty interesting.
Let's see. Don Sweeney, it's picked up for sure. Definitely more frantic today and tomorrow. The market has moved. Supply and demand prices dictate that.
Yeah, he said that today, Brett. Well, I guess he can't answer me, but if you read that as what Sweeney said today is more frantic and more talk today than there was yesterday. Dave Pagnotta just said the Bruins have love Cop. So
that is from Jason Brennan on the YouTube. Thank you, Jason.
I've said this for a little bit now. Cop is the Coyle deal, in my opinion. Like, that's the guy they bring in that you weren't expecting. I could totally see it being Cop that moves here. He's versatile. He's versatile like Sweeney likes. He's the type of player that you see move to this team because he can play center if needed. He can play right wing if needed, even left wing. It makes sense.
Is versatility the go-to thing for Don Sweeney at this point, or do we have to get a hard line on positional players?
I think he likes few in the lineup, but they don't have to be multiple positional players. I think Cassidy, if you ask Cassidy, he wants a balance between left-hand and right-hand shooters. Like, ideally for Cassidy, he'd want 2 right-hand centermen and 2 left-hand centermen. That's where having the multi-positional players comes in, where you can switch out the person taking the face off depending on which side it's on. But they don't all have to be that way.
I'd love the move. I would love it if they brought in Cobb. I think that's a good move.
Okay, what are you giving up?
He's a UFA. So I'm going the Raquel route on that. I'm going a second and a prospect. No, sorry. The Raquel for me was a third but that was just going off of a Young Croc return. I think that Kopp is better than a Young Croc, so I think it would take maybe a second and a prospect.
Sorry.
What do you think, Dom?
I don't know. Which prospect?
Probably a B level. Maybe it could be Studnicka. What's going on, Mark?
We reached 500 subscribers. Thank you very much, everybody. That's a great accomplishment for us. It might be a low number for YouTube, but that is an awesome accomplishment for us. But it's everybody in the chat that's watching right now and continues to support us. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate that.
To me, that price is too much, Kevin. Especially if he's a rental. And I think the Bruins have to go bigger and better than that.
Yeah, I would definitely welcome a better deal than that for sure.
Also, I don't know what I'm trying to think here. Trying to see what else is. All right. Anything else going on?
I mean, would you bring in what if the major bring in for an offensive player is for the right wing for the Bruins, and then they do like a Cop to bring in which would technically be an upgrade over Haula. They brought, because if you go back to before January 1st, when they just brought Haula back in after sitting him, and they played him on that line with Charlie Coyle and Craig Smith. Now, I'm not advocating breaking up Frederick Coyle and Smith, but if they were to bring in a guy like Kopp and a guy for the right wing, I think a good move, if that were to happen, would be to put Haula on that third line on the left wing with Coyle and Smith, because that line was electric when we got to see that for a few games. I loved that line. I did. I mean, obviously that means that Frederick would now become your 13th forward there, but I don't know. I don't know where he's going to go.
I'm not taking Frederick out of the lineup the way he's been playing. There's no way. He's got 8 points in his last 8 games.
He does. Yeah.
I'm not taking him out of the lineup.
This is interesting. Allie sent me this message, and it's a website that tracks planes. And no, seriously.
No, I love it. I love it.
It has the plane has not moved. They said it was supposed to leave at 2 p.m. But the track is interesting. It's not straight to Montreal. It's flying to, it looks like, Buffalo and then to Montreal. I thought an hour flight, you don't have to gas up. It's so short of a distance. That is interesting. I'm going to take a screenshot of this and send it to you guys.
They're using a twin engine prop that gets 3 miles to the gallon.
It's the same plane in that baseball movie, Major League.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Maybe the holdup is they're ushering DeBrusque off the plane with his luggage.
No, they're picking somebody up in Buffalo.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, who's that?
Or maybe they're picking Mrazek up in Toronto and they're claiming
that's hilarious. But I will put it up here because it is interesting enough that I want to see it. Let me work my magic here. I know I'm a little slow.
I'm going to grab a drink. I'll be right back.
All right, Dom.
You guys want one?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'll take a crown.
Yeah.
Probably don't need it. Save. All right, let's see if it gets up on the website. And it's not up yet. Slow computer.
Brett says, pretty well known, but from Sweeney himself, we continue to explore the market up until the deadline. Taking and feeling calls around the league. Ads working with Pat was outstanding experience. That's Pat Verbeek.
Yep. New GM out in the Anaheim Duckland, and he's got a boatload of prospects to deal with. So I'm sure that he's not done.
Brett's got something else there. On JD, looking to improve our team. JD is playing well. Adds, if it doesn't make sense, he could not be moved. And yeah, that's been the whole thing the entire time there.
Yeah, you can actually hear Bruins Nation blood boiling over that too.
Yeah, Allie, I was thinking that they could do Raquel and Copp. I was thinking that. That's what I was thinking, because that would be significant enough to me, opposed to adding just one guy, adding 2 guys that would add up to that one guy. I was thinking that too. But then you got to think of what do you do with Haula in that sense,
I apologize, guys. I don't have any clean glasses.
All right.
Do your dishes then.
Jesus.
Oh yeah.
All right. So here's the picture of the website that Allie was mentioning. So look at see the track.
Yep.
Interesting.
That's not Toronto.
No, I said Buffalo.
I thought they were picking up Mrazek.
Yeah. But somebody said Dylan Cousins. I think that was Tenkrat. I don't know. I kind of find that stuff interesting.
They aren't going to Buffalo. That's just the flight pass.
Oh. Damn it. Ruined
Flying over Buffalo to spit,
dropping
to spit out the window.
They're like, hey, Terry Pagula.
Crop dusting all of Buffalo on the way out.
Yeah.
Jason makes a good point here. You should bring that up.
Jason, right here. Boom.
The one below it. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's true. It's very true.
It is very true, but I also tend to think that with the leadership group that the team has in place, that they would make everything a lot easier. Chemistry has a lot to do with bonding. If you can bond with a player quick enough on a personal level, you find that chemistry on the ice a lot quicker. But generally, yeah, I tend to agree that making too many moves and you spoil, I guess you sort of spoil the soup, right?
Yeah. So that website that Ali provided says that the airplane is en route, landing in 48 minutes. So now we have a definite time.
Pejman, they have to know DeBrusque will fall off a cliff. I'm sorry. If he's here post deadline. That 5-game hot streak was due to him seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Very concerning if he's still here tomorrow. I disagree on that, just due to the fact that he still needs to play well, to go to another team, to earn his money, and to continue playing in the NHL on another team.
I'm going to give a shot at pronouncing this name, and you tell me if I have it right.
He's got to put on his normal glasses for it.
Pajman Hajiji.
That was my guess, and he said I was pretty close.
He loves it.
I told you he loves it. It's our thing.
Oh, that's awesome. At least he's a good sport about it. It's not like when I flip out when I get mail and it says Alfred.
Alfred.
Yeah. It's like, really, how can you screw that up?
See, he hasn't told me if I got his name right because he wants to keep hearing Kevin's.
Yeah. Pejman, did he get it close? Let us know in the chat, buddy.
Pejman Haigahiji.
I can't do it.
From Quincy. From Quincy.
That's really close, Dom.
See, that's where I was too. I got really close too, but I wasn't able to get it.
Close only counts in what? Something in hand grenades. I forget.
Hey, Chris Nosek. I got to highlight this one because I always thought this was funny. At least it's spelled correctly and not spelled 7 different ways on one article.
We should stop though. We should stop though before someone who's not him, who has nothing to do with the situation, gets offended.
Yeah, that's true. Today's world, you never know. Any chance?
Pazman Hajiji.
Haziji.
This is an interesting one from a YouTube viewer. Any chance we leave DeBrusque in Montreal and come home with Josh Anderson?
Yes, it's possible.
Will it happen?
Well, I don't know if it'll happen, but
yes, it's possible. That's my answer.
Horse using hand grenades. That's it.
Angie, she's amazing. She's always a great supporter. I love it. You're getting colder, Dom.
Gigi.
Oh man. Let's see. Are you guys staying on to the plain lands? We never know. With these streams, we do not have a timeline.
Until I say puck off, it's I'm just kidding.
Oh, Jesus.
Abruptly tell Dom to puck off into Sparkle Land.
Oh, puck off.
I love that. All right. Oh, and to answer Chris Nosek's question on the live stream tomorrow, I'm not sure about that. I do have tomorrow off from my regular 40. So it's kind of a national holiday here at the Black and Gold Productions office. So I will be here for content, but who knows? I might be able to jump on a stream for a little bit, or I might even start our own if something happens while the Bruins are in Montreal. So who knows? Love the content we're getting. It's amazing. You guys are all amazing people.
Raquel on ice for
ice.
Ducks practice.
Yeah.
That's nothing though. That's expected.
Allie, don't be mad. I'm going to work at 5 a.m. and leaving at 10 a.m. So
Anything's possible, says KG.
in
Kevin
this
Garnett.
business, you never say never. Anything is possible.
Kevin Garnett.
And I leave that door wide open when it comes to Don Sweeney and his staff when making decisions, because I remember at a time they were like, Don Sweeney completely came out and told the media and Bruins fans that they wouldn't trade Milan Lucic. And what happened 2 days later? They traded him. So every door needs to be open and every option needs to be explored when it comes to trade deadline and how to improve your team when you need to match up better against the Carolinas, the Tampa Bays, and whatever.
I think you need to put up John's question because this is really important.
Boom, done. When you say something, I do it.
Zero chance that he's changed his mind. And I know that a lot of people blame Bruce Cassidy. And I just want to say that is unfair. I think Cassidy has a lot of respect for Jake DeBrusk, especially in how he's dealing in this situation. And I think Jake DeBrusk has a lot of respect for Bruce Cassidy. There's been some tough times over the last couple of years and how Bruce has dealt with him on the ice, but that doesn't mean that they don't have a strong enough relation off of the ice. And I don't think Bruce Cassidy is in any way the reason why DeBrusk wants out. In fact, I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I think Cassidy has been through with him for all this time. I know that when Jake was suffering with, I'll call it depression through the pandemic, that Bruce, even though Bruce said he wishes he was there more, he was there for him. So I think there's a mutual respect and an understanding between the two. And they both know that this is a business and, personal feelings don't come into play here.
I'll be right there. We just passed 3 hours, so I want to retweet that again so we can get some more folks involved. Peter Tankrat, what do you think the main reason is? Mental or getting closer to home? Did you? I don't know. Did you touch on that?
No, I didn't. I don't think it's mental. I don't think it's even getting closer to home. I think, if I'm being honest, I'm saying that he's getting the wrong advice.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. And you probably, I don't know if you want to. It's not a call out or anything like that, but do you think it could be from Dad, who was a former NHLer himself? Yeah, I know.
I honestly don't want to comment on that. Yeah,
yep.
People, no matter what I say, people will make up their own minds and judge from there. I mean, let's put it this way. I had a debate with a certain person. I won't mention names, about a different Bruins player. And this person knows I've known this player for 7 or 8 years. Followed him since before he even played junior hockey. And I have his phone number. We can text back and forth, but I don't bother him. I wait for him to bother me. And we had a conversation. I said, no, you're wrong. This person replied to me back with, well, like he'd ever tell you. Okay, you believe what you want to believe, okay? But here it is. So I've learned that no matter what anybody says, people will form their own opinions. So we'll just leave it at that.
Okay, that's fair. I didn't mean to push you into an area you didn't want to go.
No, I'll never answer a question I don't want to. It's just the way I am.
Yep. No, and I respect that. Totally respect that. Let's see. Any chance? Ooh. Kelsey, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate the support. Any chance we see Grizz moved as part of a bigger deal?
We've talked about this before. I think there's a chance Grizz could be moved in the off season simply because Jack Ashawn might be ready. But no, not this season. I don't see it this season. Off season, I won't say no.
Yeah. And Parmesan, Parcheesi Bergeron, he comes in, he says, I think losing Grizz would be bad for morale right now. So yeah, an off-season thing.
I don't know if it's I guess I can see some morale issues come up. But like I said, these guys are professionals. They know it's part of the business. It's just moving Grizz for part of a bigger deal to, let's say, get a better forward. You're just weakening one position to strengthen another. And they really don't have anybody who can replace Grizz right now. I mean, Grizz is the top 4. He's probably going to get most time next to Carlo, with Lindholm in, and then filling in with McAvoy, depending on game situation. So you don't want to take that out of the lineup because you've got nobody else to put in there. Next season, maybe a Sean could be that guy, but you have to wait and see. So that's why this deal won't get done now and might get done in the off season.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Anything else in the chat? Guys, ask away. It doesn't have to be draft related. It could be anything Bruins, Providence, prospects. I just want to keep things fresh and going until then. But if not, we're going to possibly close it down. I know Kevin's probably going to get all upset about that.
Kevin's a weenie anyway. He's out stuff on his face again.
Love it.
Man, that guy eats a lot.
Yeah. I'm not, a skinny guy myself, but I can't eat like that. No way.
Mr. Ken Crack comes up with the toughest questions all the time. So, Sean is a restricted free agent, I believe, with arbitration rights. I could be wrong, but it doesn't really matter. Grzelcyk has 2 years remaining before he becomes an unrestricted free agent, I believe. So I think what you'll see is a Sean getting a 2-year contract, 2-year two-way contract. He'll spend at least one more full season in Providence and be the first call-up. Similar to the way they handled Euro Vakanainen, I would think. So if they're absolutely 100% sure that he's ready to make the roster next year, then I think they will consider trading Grizz probably close to the draft.
Makes sense.
And to follow that up, Jason has a good question right below. Why don't you guys start with this one? Because I have a different answer probably to you guys.
I don't know what the value would be on the team, on another team, but what he's shown in the Bruins organization is a tremendous amount of hard work for a younger blue liner, and smaller blue liner. I see some good things offensively. He definitely reminds me of a kind of a Torrey Crew type of player and so on. But I do understand the narrative that we do have to get. We don't need to get smaller. We need to get bigger and so on, and playoffs and so on, and blah blah blah. And I don't know. I like the player a lot. I think he's worked really hard, and he's definitely earned his call ups. And I see a place with him in this Boston Bruins organization in the future. But it's not all doom and gloom when a younger player, smaller player comes into the league. You really shouldn't judge anything by size. Once somebody sees 5'8", 5'9", they absolutely freak out, and I just don't like that at all. But yeah, that's what I got. If that's any help at all.
I think other teams look at Sean's value as a B-level prospect.
Yeah, but there were as many as 10 teams that were bidding for him to get him when he decided to turn pro. So,
all right, here's my question for you then.
Yeah.
What do you see now? Do you agree that Vakanainen is like a 5'4" type of defenseman, more a 4?
Okay, I see where you're going with this. 4 or 5.
Yeah, so 4 or 5.
Right.
I see a Sean in that same role, but I see a Sean with more offensive upside. So maybe I'll go because I think I value Vakanainen as a B-level prospect. I think that we can maybe do an uptick on that just a little bit because of the fact that he has more offensive upside. So I'll go B+. I'll go with a B+ value on that prospect.
Yeah, because I think Sean is a better player, the higher or better skater, the higher offense. I think he's got the higher IQ, whereas Vac is the better defensive player. Can handle the defense situations better. They're both good in transition, although I'd still have to give the edge to a Sean there.
Mm-hmm.
But the downfall is, as we know, Vakanainen is injury prone.
Yeah, and the size too because for a Sean, I think if he was bigger, and I'm not one of those guys who is obsessed with size. I don't have some bodybuilder fetish, but for me, it's like in order to be, I think, to be upgraded to that 3-2 threshold of where you could be a number 3 guy or a number 2 guy in a defense, you got to have a bit more size. But if he had that, I think he would be a blue chip prospect if he had that size.
I totally agree. Blue chip for sure. If he had, I'd say maybe 4 inches.
Yeah, I agree. If he had that, because he's got the pounds. He's like a little pit bull. He's got the pounds, but it's just that size, and it's not a knock on a Sean at all. He's a fantastic player who would do well as a 4th guy. So pretty much in Grzelcyk's spot. But I think he's better than Grzelcyk. Will be better than Grzelcyk, I should say. Not right now.
Not right now, no. Which is why they might be willing to trade Grizz come the offseason.
I mean, they were just willing to trade a Sean. So
yeah,
that's so maybe they're flip-flopped on that. Maybe they don't know where to go.
I want to quickly shout out Kelsey because she's very nice with her words here. She says, Dom, Dizzy from Dizay, or however you pronounce it, from HF Boards. Appreciate the podcast, and you and the boys are doing a great job. Thank you for the support, Kelsey.
Thanks, Kelsey.
Appreciate it. Put up true vegans, freaking.
What was that?
It's the last one he did there. It's 3. It's 2. It's 3 up.
This one?
Yeah.
All right. I don't get it.
Oh, jeez. This just in. They forgot to put Jake DeBrusk's equipment on the plane. No, just kidding.
Sorry, Kelsey. Do. All right. What is next?
I like talking about the value. Anyone else want any values on players? Because that was fun. I enjoyed doing that.
Yeah, send them in. Keep Kevin going.
Well, there's one there about John Beecher.
Oh, wait a minute.
Okay,
Let me go find it. Boom. This is from Jerry H. Another one from the HF, I believe. Would John Beecher have much trade value? Interesting topic.
All right. You want me to go first, Tom?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to say not much. I think in the NHL, I think his ceiling is I'm not going to say ceiling. I'm going to say his floor. I'm going to say his floor is a fourth liner, but I think he might be able to reach that third line maybe. But he also has a bit of injuries to him that's kind of slowed down his progression. He should be in Providence this upcoming season, I think.
Yeah.
I put him as I think he's in that C+ area as a prospect for me.
I agree. And players with Beecher's skill set have a role in the NHL. You can't have a team of 20 superstars. It just doesn't work that way. If Jack McBain is worth a second round pick, I would have to say that John Beecher is worth a late third, early fourth to a team.
That's fair. Yeah, the injuries have been really hard on him.
I mean, Beecher plays a different game. So I hate comparing players, but McBain has the higher upside. Easily.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And yes, as soon as Michigan is done, he's expected to sign an ELC or even go ATO for the remaining regular season games with Providence, and then a contract full ELC starts next season. So would be nice to get him involved and have him work with Trent Whitfield and Ryan Mougenel and Matt Thomas down in Providence, and be closer to the organization. I think we still have something here. I'm not going to pump his tires and be like he was a number one pick and so on. But I just think that there's places in the organization for players like him. It's not just going to be all the time NHL. Work your way towards that roster spot and work hard. And I think that he's got that in him to do. Now it's up to him to put all those pieces together and show everybody what type of pro he can be.
Yeah, but I think Kevin nailed it. He bottoms out as a fourth liner. He tops out as a third liner. So that's where the value is.
Yeah.
And they have a role. Like I said, you can't have 20 superstars. So I think Kevin nailed it perfectly. That's where his value is.
Speaking of value, Jason Brennan comes in and asking about Jack Studnicka. What's keeping Studnicka from taking the next step?
Logjam.
Exactly.
Yeah. Plain and simple.
Waiver eligibility.
Yep.
Jump up one. Keep one. Beecher or Studnicka. Studnicka for me.
Yeah. Because Studnicka, his floor for me is third line. That's his floor. Straight up. I don't see him crashing to be a fourth liner. Just playing with Marchand and DeBrusque the other night, you could see it. He's not a fourth liner in this league. His bottom for me is third line. I don't see him reaching what his potential is, and that was a second line center. I just don't see it. I still think he's a third liner, but he could surprise. Yeah. You never know.
The two are certainly there, Kevin.
This is fun.
Oh, sorry.
This is fun. I enjoy talking about these guys. Someone put up Lauco.
Oh, go up before that first is Myers.
This one, I was looking at that myself. How do you project Ben Myers as a pro, and do the Bruins have a shot? I don't know much about this player, so
I'm not too
out.
privy on this player. I'm out on this one. This is you, Dom.
They have a shot at him. Let's reserve where he fits in and where his value is if and when he becomes a Boston Bruin. Because I don't want to pump somebody else's players up. So they have a shot. Let's see what happens. I mean, there's lots of time between now and, well, you got another year with him. So I believe. So let's just see what happens once everything settles down with trade deadline, the NCAA season is over, and see where he ends up.
And then, yep.
Then Lauko.
Yep. Where do you rank Lauko? Interesting. Coming off of after the season will be technically his last of his entry level. He's been real injury prone, very unlucky. But when he does play, I think he makes impacts in the game. It might not be on the score sheet nightly, but he's really, I believe, in the past 2 seasons has really stepped up his physical game, especially when he's close by and sticking up for a player. The kid has dropped the gloves several times, and believe it or not, he can scrap. He can do it, and he's probably been working a lot with a player development coach like Adam McQuaid, and how to throw those punches, the timing, and so on. I'm not saying he's going to come up here and goon it up and so on, but that's something, in my opinion, that players should all have. Be offensively skilled, but also show a little bit of toughness if you need to, and especially that goes a long way when you stick up for a player.
Yeah, I think Lauko has middle 6 upside. I think he's right in that realm of being, a third or second line guy. Probably a little bit more. I'm leaning a little bit more towards the third line. So, but the injuries are there. Mark said it all with the type of player he is. I put him as a B- prospect.
Yeah, I put him as a third liner who could fill in on the second. Again, like Kaiser or like Vakanainen, Beecher, injuries have slowed his development. So who knows? I would sign him to a second contract. Give him a minimum. Make it a 2-year deal, 2-way, obviously, and hope that he can work through the injury and problems that he's had.
Absolutely. Here's a question for Dom, not directed at Dom, but I'd like to get your opinion on this. This is from DJ Greasy Biscuits. Still, the name kills me. Do you think the 2023 draft is as deep as projected?
Greasy Biscuits sounds like what Kevin had for breakfast this morning.
I had eggs and toast. Thank you very much.
Yes, it is. I'm not one of those that sits there and looks at the draft class a year before. You actually have to watch the under 16s, under 17s to get an idea of where it is. 2022 is a strong draft. 2023 is even better. Excuse me. And I've been actually saying it for 2 years to watch out for 2023. So here we are. Yeah, I think it's as deep and as good, maybe even better than projected.
I feel like this is just my opinion, of course, but I feel like Bedard is going to be the better number 1 overall over Shane Wright. I think Shane Wright's still obviously a really fantastic consensus first overall, but I think Bedard is going to be unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Here's one that kind of hits home a little bit for you, Dom. This is from Dr. Stilly Pants. Brett Harrison's trade value. Trade or keep if there is an offer?
I think he has some value. I don't know what it is, but I'm a firm believer that everybody should be available in the right deal. So nobody is untouchable in my books. And if you could trade a prospect to get a young or in their prime player right now for any amount of or any length of time, that you make that deal if it makes your team better today and for the next couple of years. So, yeah, to answer that, if there's an offer, it depends on the offer. But yeah, I'm open to trading anybody.
And we talked about this on the Black and Gold Hockey Podcast episode. I think it was maybe a month ago. We talked about this when we were talking about the value of Raquel. Now, this value of Raquel is with an extension, but we put him at a second round pick at that point and a B prospect. And it was mentioned by Dom that he could see Harrison being that guy. And I think we both agreed that we wouldn't do Harrison in that deal. But like Dom said, there is a deal out there where Harrison definitely would be on the table. If LaSalle can be on the table for a Chikrin, Harrison can definitely be on the table for another player.
We talked about it last night. If this time of year, you take calls on everybody.
Yep.
G. Wally comes in with a cap question, and with Lindholm done, Bergie to be done. Cap Friendly shows 8.5 under for next year. Thoughts?
It's not a bad place to be in.
Hey, Wally. How's it going, buddy? Let me just bring it up real quick. Boston Bruins. Here we are. Projected cap space, 8,445,000. So what do they got here?
I like the elevator music, Don. Let me get another one that you're going to really like from Craig Collier. What are you looking for, Don?
Okay, so Wally, really, out of all that, you've really only got Patrice Bergeron to sign. We don't know what's going on with Jake DeBrusk. You have Curtis Lazar and Anton Bleed as UFAs, and your defense is all signed, and your goaltending. So $8.5 million may not seem like a lot, but $8.5 million is more than enough to get Bergeron, Lazar, Stadnicka as an RFA, and Bleed or their replacements done. We just have to wait and see what's happening with Jake DeBrusk. So $8.5 million is nothing to worry about. They're in great shape.
All right, let's move on to Craig Collier. This one, although the school is incorrect. What are your thoughts on Yelovic as a prospect? I know he's committed to Boston College. Do you see his ceiling as a top 6 forward?
Oh, I guess you guys are giving that to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the Yelovic guy.
You know what? I really owe PJ Axelson an apology for this because
he's in North America, Dom. Do you want me to get in touch with him?
Yeah, I know. I said he was in Boston. So, PJ, if you're listening, and I know you're not, but you might be, I'm sorry, because when the Bruins made this pick, I thought, oh, great, another PJ Axelson special. So I watched his first couple of games and wasn't impressed, but I continued to follow him. And the more I followed him, the more impressed I got. And he just got better and better and better as the season has gone on. You really got to understand how the J20 works in Sweden. It's a real complicated league to follow or to understand how their season works. They have a North and a South division, and there's 10 teams in each division, but they never play each other through the regular season. Then they move on to the top 10, which is the top 5 teams from each division forming a new division, which he just killed. They just finished their season now and are going into the playoffs. They just finished second in scoring. He actually put up more points playing against the other 9 best teams in the country than he did playing the other 9 teams in his own division. So that speaks a lot on how he's developed and improved. And we'll see what happens now. They got a best-of-3 series starting on Tuesday, I believe it is. But yeah, I love the player. I just love everything about it. I think BC's getting a good one here. I can't wait till he comes over and everybody gets to watch him play in North America, because not everybody, let's face it, not everybody can cough up the money to watch every single game that's out there. And if I can touch on Matthias Mantakivi too, Mark.
Sure. Go right ahead, my friend.
Don't sleep on this guy either, folks. Like this guy is, for a 6th round pick, is a special player, the way he plays. And we were lucky enough to have him on a podcast a couple of weeks ago. And
episode 269, if you want to go back.
Yeah, I think it was Kevin that actually asked him who he tries to model his game after. And I don't like personally making player comparisons.
His answer was perfect, though.
His answer was perfect, and I was shocked to hear it when he said he tries to pull aspects out of Pavel Datsyuk's game and put him into his own. And Mark said, well, another late round pick there. And I had to think about it for a split second. I thought, yeah, he's right. You can see it in his game. So don't sleep on this guy. I know the Bruins are pretty high on him. He signed for one more season, so he told us he'll be at development camp this summer.
Yep.
And he hasn't talked to the Bruins yet about main camp or rookie camp, and they haven't given him a determination on it yet. And then he'll go back and finish his contract out one more season in Finland. And just to know how much the Bruins are like this kid, they're already in touch with him. They told him that the team nutritionist has given him everything about preparing his food, what to eat, and that kind of stuff. So they're keeping close tabs on him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's definitely not eating donuts and drinking Gatorade.
Yeah, right.
That's for sure. Touching back on Oscar Yelovic, Dr. Silly Pants comes in with this. Elite Prospects has Oscar as the Bruins' top prospect. Nobody talks about him. We talk about him here.
I think before we get into this, though, Giordano was just traded to the Leafs.
Yeah, I just saw that. I was going to say that National Rumors Daily dropped that in surprising move, the deadline appears Giordano is on his way to Toronto.
Yeah, it's starting to come out all over the place now on Twitter, so it looks like that's actually a thing. I mean, should we talk about this right now?
Oh, let me finish answering that.
Yeah, you go ahead, and then we'll talk.
Right there. No, I talk plenty about Yelovic. Constantly talk about him every week, and if you think nobody is talking about it, then you're definitely not following me. Now we can talk about Giordano.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good pickup for the Leafs. It's something they definitely needed. I don't know what they gave up for him yet. I'm assuming a first has to be in there. I don't know where it puts the Leafs. I still see them as a first round exit. I'm still there. They could have picked up McDavid, and I still see them as a first round exit. I mean, they're just I don't know. Oh, and get this. Hampus Lindholm's first game is going to be against Tampa Bay on Thursday. I just realized that.
That's funny.
Awesome.
That is good.
Leafs. Look, man, if the Leafs have to go up against Tampa Bay in round one, I'd like to see what the odds are on Leafs games. That might be a series to actually put some money on because I don't know, man. Tampa would just smoke them. I don't care what happened in the regular season. This is playoff time. Different hockey.
Yeah, like we said yesterday, they don't have a winning culture there.
No, they don't have a lot of things. They don't have a goaltender. They don't. Rasmus Sandin, I love Rasmus Sandin. Think is a terrific defenseman. I was really, really high on him when he played with the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds in the OHL. I would have loved for him to be a Boston Bruin. Giordano, okay, I like him. He's 38 years old. But other than that, there's nobody else on the Leafs defense that I'm enamored with. Mike Riley, to me, I mean, I soured on Mike Riley a couple of years ago when he was putting up all those points, and there's talk in Leafland about Bobby Orr numbers. I was like, okay, I'm done with this guy, man.
Wait, Morgan Riley?
Timothy Liljegren, is he? What is there?
Yeah, it's very thin, very thin. Well, that's probably because they uploaded on so many forwards to address that need that they didn't do the due diligence on their back end.
I don't think they even addressed the need up front, Mark. I think they ignored it.
Oh, interesting.
Well, yeah, they picked up Richie, and now Kosh is out, who was actually playing pretty decent for them.
He was playing good, but he got $40 million tied up in 4 players or whatever it is.
Oh, that's just disgusting.
Yeah, shout out to Andrew Johnson of the Short Shift podcast for really holding on to the thought that Andrew Kasha was a good player, and it was a mistake to get rid of him. But
But it really was a fluke concussion. I mean, it's the one similar to Seidenberg and Bergeron. It was just a fluke, and it's too bad.
They want to say this is Joe Rivas, but he asks, or this person asks, any chance Lysell gets on the roster next year? I don't see it.
I'm not going to say zero chance because you never know. But it's slim.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
he could get the pasta treatment half season in the AHL and then just be too good that they have to bring him up.
Yeah, I could see that, but I definitely see a little bit of time in Providence just to get some more systems embedded in his head and learn how we play down here, and then the world's an open can of tuna fish, as my boy Kevin would say.
I guess. I don't even like tuna that much.
I know, I can't. I like fresh tuna, not the stuff in the can. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Right.
Mr. Tenkrat asked one there earlier about if we're disappointed on the Bruins missing out on Scanlon.
Yeah, I saw that too.
At first I was, but now with Lindholm in the mix and Lorei coming and Jack Ashawn there, I'm not so disappointed. No.
Yeah.
And what do we think about Lascelles' upside? I think he's a first line guy. That's just me.
His upside?
Yeah.
No, I put him as a second liner.
I think he's going to be first liner.
Well, that's where
he plays on the second line. Because you're not going to take
a second liner who plays on the first line.
All right, we'll see.
or, by that time, Pasternak and Hall may be on the first line.
Yeah, I think he's got the potential to be a first liner, is what I'm saying. Like, I think
his absolute highest upside, yeah.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that. Where do I think he'll play in Boston? Second line, because you got Pasternak here, and I don't see him being better than Pasternak. I mean, preferably you'd want the higher end goal scorer, which is what Pasternak is going to be, playing on a top line, and that's probably going to be with a Taylor Hall, depending on how long Marchand's still here. Because Marchand's 33.
Yeah.
I mean, he could still play another 4 years here in Boston, maybe more, 5 years. You never know. And at that point, you never know. He still could be playing at a 80 to 100 point pace. I mean, you never know. I mean, it's hard to tell, but it's going to be first line or second line easily. That's saying that he's still here after this deadline. You never know; anything could happen. Yeah. But I love the player. I really do. He's got that finesse, and we were talking a lot about him yesterday too, and how he's going to be such a good playmaker. He's gonna drive offense, and I think if they can find a scoring center, a guy who can pot goals really well, or a scoring left winger to go along with him, that would be a lot of fun to watch.
Well, you want a scoring center? They drafted one in Brett Harrison,
right?
So let's see.
Yep, there you go.
Let's see. I mean, he's only 18 years old, so he's got to develop, guys. So let's see what happens. But if you're looking for a shooter for a centerman, you got him, Keller.
Yeah. Good point. Still tied at 1-1 down in Charlotte, North Carolina, with the Providence Bruins are currently playing their last game of 3 in 4 days. It's 1-1. Shots are in favor of the Checkers, 33-31. There's 17 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the third period.
Mark, you should put up Brett's comment about what Lindholm had to say. We don't have to really talk about it, just so people can see it.
I'm just scrolling up a little bit to
at
find
2:49 p.m.
Mr. Brett. There it is. Boom, shakalaka.
No, wrong one. It says, Lindholm thanks old teammates. Then he chuckles and states, super excited to be a Bruin. I want to thank Sweeney here for making this happen for me. It's something I could only dream of. Super excited.
That's awesome.
There's a player who's excited.
Yep. I mean, even I got a kickstand for this trade, so I'm looking forward to it. Zachary, but I don't.
Zachary.
It's funny. Somebody said that to me a long time ago. I think it was like my first year at work. They were like, "Hey, you have Zachary disease," and I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Your face looks Zachary like your ass."
Jesus.
All right,
John has a question there that I think we already touched on earlier. Actually, I'm positive we touched on earlier. Do you think Chychrun is a better player than Lindholm?
Yeah. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
But
no
based on price to acquire, which one would you rather have?
Lindholm.
Right.
You got both your blue chip prospects still. That wouldn't be said if Chychrun came here. But then again, if Chychrun came here and LaSalle went the other way, the pain is eased tremendously by the player you got.
Right.
Yeah. Mike Loring's in the house. What up, Mike?
And what is Nicholas Alexander saying here? Josh on a potential JT Miller trade for the Bruins. Who's Josh? Thoughts. He fixed it. I was like, who the hell's Josh? There's no Josh here.
We talked about this at pretty length yesterday's stream. That I still believe that JT's staying. I don't know. I know you guys probably aren't totally on board with that, but
no, I am.
Yeah.
But I do think it's going to take a tremendous package to get him out of there. I think they'd be open to listening, but you're going to have to blow them away and you're going to have to overpay. And I'm not
definitely,
looking to do that.
definitely.
JT Miller is a nice piece and all, but he doesn't move the needle enough for me to give up what they're probably going to ask for him. And that's like 2 first-round picks and a blue chip prospect and another piece. Like, there's no way around it. That's just what they're going to ask because they don't have to move him.
True.
I'm going to only ask you to put this one up, Mark, because we talked about it on a podcast. Actually, I think we talked about it privately after the podcast, but Jason Brennan at 257, where he worked at Logan Airport. While I look something up there.
Yeah. And I saw that and I was just like, well, nobody gets cut from development camp, but he came back and said it was training camp that he mentioned. So,
yeah. I don't know, man. There's a prospect who had some talent. His head just wasn't in the right place. I mean, just was not in the right place. So we'll leave it at that. It's like, if you're going to be like that, good riddance. See you later.
yeah.
We'll fill your spot with somebody else.
And it goes back to what we always say here on the Black and Gold Hockey Podcast, that this Boston Bruins organization is so high on character.
Yep.
And if you don't have character and willing to work well with others, per se, you're not going to make it here. It's just not going to happen. So, unfortunately, I was following his career when he was playing with the Prince George Cougars, and I believe it was Swift Current, the Broncos, and he was no, maybe I'm thinking about DeBrusque, but no, he was really good. He put up some awesome numbers, and Tenkrat. What's Tenkrat saying?
Dermott, and a second for Gio.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. So they didn't have to give up that first, and that's probably because of the Dermott. But wow. Interesting.
Travis Dermott's one of their better defensemen as far as I'm concerned. So
very interesting.
I don't know, man. 38-year-old, probably done after this season.
Yeah, I think that's a weird deal. But you do you, Leafs. You always do.
I think this is Kyle Dubas's last chance. I think.
He's so screwed.
Yeah.
What a shit show.
Multiple
Mr. Tenkrat. Pluto has an article. The Bruins are not done dealing. I think we have been discussing this for the last 24 hours. They're not done. Help up front is next. Again, we've been discussing that for the last 24 hours. With Lindholm defending Pavel Zax.
Probably talking about Pavel Zacha.
Yep.
Interesting.
I really do think they're going to get a center. I really do. I said that yesterday, too. I said that I think the move they're going to make is at center. It seems like Sweeney's trying to appease everyone. The left-handed shot, the left-handed D guys, the center guys.
So let's see. It sounds like the plane has landed. Just landed.
That was
Did
quick.
you have an alert on your phone?
Huh?
Did you have an alert on your phone?
No. I'm just reading the website that Ali shared, and that's it's a flight aware, and it just tracks where your flight is and coming from. It's pretty cool, actually. And the flight path changed, so it went out western Massachusetts towards the Berkshires, and then right at the Vermont-New York border went straight up. So it didn't go to Buffalo, and Ali was correct. There is impending weather that probably sent the track out where. So DeBrusque is still a Bruin.
Oh, I thought maybe there was a no-fly zone there or something.
Yeah, right.
I thought maybe Biden was coming up to visit us, and there was a no-fly zone for Air Force One.
I think so Matt S is asking, what about a 1 RW? I mean, I still could see them trying to do. If they go out and get a center as their big forward piece, I truly could see Sweeney just doing a Jake DeBrusk, Raquel swap at like tomorrow or something like that. I could see it. I mean, who knows? But you could see it. Who knows? We'll see.
I just got to call something up here. Hold on.
No worries. Allie, Buffalo is also in Vancouver.
Buffalo is what?
She says Buffalo is also in Vancouver.
Oh,
I'm true vegan. I'm on that. I'm definitely on that. That as well. I mean, I do Cop and Raquel, but not just one. Well, no, I would do Raquel for JD. You know, I would do that as a one deal, but I wouldn't just do Cop. And maybe I would. I don't know. I feel like they need something more significant, but both of those players together, I think, might be significant enough to add more to your offense. But I don't know, because it's so weird because it's like of what we know that's rumored to be available, there's not really a ton there that really sparks my interest. But it could be something off the table, something way out in left field, like we've been saying. I don't know. God. Yeah, I would do JDB for Raquel as a rental because at this point, what are you getting for Jake DeBrusk? Even if you take him to the deadline and you get a pick for him and you make that pick, there's no promise that he's even going to ever play a game for the Boston Bruins. You know, it's
Right.
just it's all a risk. And I think your better risk is sending Jake DeBrusk for Raquel 1-for-1, getting Raquel here, allowing him to play in your system and be there with his best friend Hampus Lindholm and see if that's enough for him to want to stay.
This is an interesting question from Jason. Would Stassi be an upgrade on Holla? I kind of feel like they're the same
No.
player.
Downgrade, in my opinion.
Downgrade,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
He doesn't have the speed to keep up with Hall and Pasta. He doesn't have that. I just no.
I think he has the IQ, but definitely not the speed.
Yeah. I mean, does he need the speed? Technically, no, but I'd rather the speed be there.
I think he does need. You do need the speed though to play with those two. I think, Kevin.
But Krejci doesn't have that speed, and he played fantastic with. And I understand it's two different players. I understand that, but I'm just in the sense of, you know, I don't think he technically needs the speed because Krejci worked very well with Hall.
Yeah, but now you're talking with Hall and Pasternak as opposed to Hall alone, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the way those two are capable of pushing defenses back, you want your centerman to be there as the third guy coming in late, and if you can't keep up, that it doesn't become an option for you.
I can agree with that. Okay, that makes sense the way you put it. Travis Hamonic has been traded to Ottawa.
Yeah, that's from Mr. Tankrat.
Kelsey has another question.
Yep.
Who's your ideal two center, but keeping in mind the cap? I'm going to throw my name in there and then go use the little boys' room while you guys throw out your names. Of all the names that are being mentioned, I'm not going to pick any new ones out there that haven't been talked about. I'm going to go with Pavel Zacha. For whatever reason, it hasn't always worked for him in the NHL. But I remember his days with the Sarnia Sting. The talent is there, and I don't know if it's just the situations he's been in. With New Jersey, but he's. If I had to say, this is the guy we need and that we could get at a reasonable price, he's my guy.
There you go. And
Yeah.
Dom is checking out for a little bit. For me, this is a tough one because it always puts me in a mental pretzel when you're thinking about the players available and the cap we currently have. I just to name a player, I wouldn't mind seeing the Bruins go after a player like Kopp from Winnipeg. You know, I mean, it's a kind of a boring insight there, but that's all I really got.
That's my guy too, Mark.
Yeah.
He's a Swiss Army knife. Play up and down your lineup. He could definitely play in the 2C role. I mean, I think that I think he's a good get. I really do. I like him. You can play him on that right wing if that's where you need him. He's 27 years old, 6'1", 206 pounds. He's a center, but plays all positions. I like him. He's got 32 points in 55 games this year. 13 goals, 19 assists. So he's like I said, he's like a coil type move. And I'd love to bring him on.
Allison says Kopp is this year's Rich Peverley. Not a bad one.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good idea too. But the only issue here is that we don't need a third line like we did in 2011. You know, in 2011 we needed to bring in pieces for a third line, and that's what Chiarelli went out and did. This season it seems to be. I mean, I think you can get a middle six player, and I think that's what Kopp is. I think he's a middle six player. I think you can get something like that, and you can insert him into your top six just fine because you have 4 first-line players playing in there. You have Hall, you have Pastrnak as a duo, and then you have Marchand and Bergeron as a duo. So it's plug and play at that point. And I think Kopp is a good plug and play guy, whether it's in between Hall and Pastrnak or on the right side of Bergeron and Marchand.
All right. Game update. The Providence Bruins are in overtime, and it's still tied at 1. And Providence has a power play 4-on-3. So hopefully they can get this done right now and leave Charlotte, North Carolina with 2 points, much needed 2 points, and possibly claim the second spot in the Atlantic. I will keep you updated on this as I watch it.
I need to go, boys.
All right. Are you done?
Yeah, I got to be done.
All right.
I'll be yelled at if I go any further today after 7 hours yesterday. So it's I got the text, you know, the infamous text.
No, I hear you. We're going on 4 hours here anyway. So, Dom, what do you think? You want to close it up?
He's speechless.
I think he's still muted.
If anything happens, we can always come back. I'm just going to recharge my phone because now I'm down to 32%.
Yeah, we need that for the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we'll possibly do something later on. But I want to thank Kevin O'Keefe. I want to thank Dom. But I particularly want to thank everybody who's been here supporting us for the last 2 days of this NHL Trade Line special on the Black and Gold Hockey Podcast and Black and Gold Productions Sports Media Company Network. Absolutely amazing. I can't wait to see the numbers of this show because I think we're going to go past the 1,000 or close to the 1,000 we got yesterday. So thanks for everybody for tuning in, chiming in on the live chat, feed questions throughout this whole thing, and the support has been tremendous. So we'll be back possibly tomorrow, later on today, who knows? But follow us all on the Twitter to find out when we're going to be doing stuff like this, and also please subscribe, like, and share the YouTube channel. That's what really gets us going here. We just passed 500 subscriptions today. Let's get some more. Let's LFG. You know what I mean? Let's freaking go. But with that being said, Mark Allred here, host of the Black and Gold Hockey Podcast, and we're going to talk to you sometime later on. Enjoy your Sunday evening and enjoy the silly season in the NHL 2022 trade deadline. We'll talk soon.
Peace out, boys with a Z.
Sorry. Later, guys.